welcome to the Intelligent Idea Podcast.
Skepticisms, and I had my suspicion.
It always happens.
That was too early. What up?
Hey guys, welcome back to another installment episode of the Intelligent Idea Talkers Podcast, for the week of 11/5/2023. Thanks for joining us. Once again, I'm your host, D.
This is Juice.
This is Frank.
Hey, daylight savings time, fellas.
Oh,
It's always an adjustment. Like anytime the daylight saving kicks in and you look up, you're like, it feels like 3 o'clock, but it's 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about you, especially you, Kaimon, but like daylight savings time, it feels like, especially with a 4-year-old, like it's like ruining lives one day at a time, 1 hour at a time.
Yeah.
Because it's an adjustment, and it's like, I don't know about you, but my son has been the worst today. Like he's been he's been the worst today. Like, yo.
I love when we gain an hour versus losing an hour, though. I love the setback, in the fall.
Yeah.
As opposed to the
I'm just ready to be
in the summer.
In certain
I'm ready to be done with it all together, though.
Yeah, like I thought that was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
like, I don't understand what happened. They put it into law. They put it into law, and then nothing happened. We're still fucking doing it. We were supposed to stop it like a year ago.
But see, I don't get it. If we can stop doing it, why have we been doing it our lifetimes then? You know what I mean? Like I thought there was a purpose to daylight savings. I thought we were saving daylight.
The only purpose for daylight savings is for farmers. Right. Farmers use the daylight hours to determine growth of crops and how that works. That's literally the only reason daylight savings time exists. It's fucking antiquated and it's not needed. Arizona doesn't do it. I think New Mexico also doesn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, but like,
how does that work? So when
they just keep the time the fucking same, because we're moving it an hour forward and then an hour back. It's like, we're coming back to the same time eventually. So why not? We just out here
looking crazy, just moving our times around. Like, but it's just annoying people for no reason.
so Arizona goes from being 3 hours behind us to being 2 hours behind us when we or vice versa. I guess so. Like if we just set
because
the time
we're
back,
moving the time, but Arizona's time doesn't change.
It's constant.
Yeah, they don't change.
So isn't Arizona, that would be 3 hours behind us, right? I know
Arizona is
3 hours.
2 hours behind us. Arizona
so they
is
go
central.
From being 2 to 1.
To 1, yeah, and then it's gonna go back to 2 in spring.
What are you doing all this daylight saving shit for? I
mean,
I guess it does matter.
We don't
in the
need to do
summertime.
it.
Aren't the days extended?
The days are longer in the summer, and the days are shorter in the winter. The days are shortest from winter solstice to, I would say, like March 1st, and then the days start to gradually get a little longer, and then we hit spring equinox, and then we go and the days start getting longer and longer, and then it's the longest in the summer.
I did hear that though, that we were supposed to stop doing daylight savings. It
was supposed to be like a year ago. We were supposed to stop doing it. I don't understand. Like this shit sucks.
There was a whole procedure, man. They voted on it and everything.
Yeah,
I remember voting on that, Jones. Like, okay, cool. We done with this. Finally,
man. It's ruining lives 1 hour at a time. Thank you, daylight savings time. Thank you.
Claudine
100 years old.
She said it was a World War II practice to help with the war.
Oh, okay.
Right,
I thought it was an agricultural thing. I know they definitely benefited from that, but I did not know that.
I would say an agricultural thing, even an economic thing, right? Like you want your days to be longer in the spring or summertime, so that way people have more time to be out and about. And I don't know, I thought it was a purpose.
They work more during the day. They work.
I think maybe on
not World War II, World War One.
World War I. Oh, okay. I think maybe it was it definitely helped. It maybe helped with the stock market, but it wasn't like it didn't have a huge impact. But I remember reading something about that a while back. But yeah, daylight savings time. Let's go.
It wouldn't be so bad if, during daylight savings time they gave us a day off of work or something.
To adjust, right? to adjust. To
like,
adjust.
yeah,
Give us like 3 to 5 days, business days.
Like if we're gonna go in on daylight savings time, let's do it all the way. Give us a holiday on the daylight.
Like my biological clock is off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially in the spring, like we're losing an hour of everything. That's a hell of an adjustment. I think that's a worse adjustment than gaining an hour like we are now. Yeah,
you're right. That is the worst of the two adjustments.
It's the worst.
It is. That one sucks. You lose an hour.
You lose an hour.
You've been having car accidents.
Everybody's late to work.
Yeah, nobody's on time.
Everybody's late. Everybody's
rushing and speeding.
Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. But if you gain an hour, you gain an hour of sleep. We gain an hour. We have more time to not, make it to work and take care of our families and. We have to work an extra hour, sure, but that's just more time to be productive. But you lose an hour, it's all fun.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Why do we keep doing this? Just keep the time the same. It's like you make you think, what time is it?
I blame Joe Biden, man. He's been doing stuff, man. He's been starting stuff and then reneging.
He's the one. He's
offering stuff like, hey, you guys want some civil rights?
Yeah. Nah, I ain't giving you the civil right now.
Nah, what?
I want some student loan forgiveness.
Nah, no, that actually happened. That actually happened, though.
It happened, and then the courts started getting into it, and now they doing like this whole racketeer back and forth. I got a feeling they about to just be like,
I would say I remember it was wasn't it AOC? Wasn't she the one that it was her. She was the one that championed getting rid of daylight savings time a few years ago. Yeah, and then that was actually written into law, but I guess that doesn't matter now.
Hold on, Claudine's got a history of Claudine, our fact checker, Claudine, says daylight savings time, it was first introduced in Germany in 1916 during World War I as an energy saving measure. And then she said we stopped doing it in the 50s, and then the Gulf lobby paid the government to restart it. The Gulf lobby.
Did they say why?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, what are the benefits to restarting it?
Maybe not say what I was about to say. That might be racist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the obvious answer.
Rich white people fucking with shit. Why why bring back this antiquated practice?
More
time playing golf.
Because we want to.
Right.
Yeah.
More time to play golf. What's not to like?
Yeah. Lucrative. Yeah. Summertime is the most lucrative for golf.
Interesting.
So more summer.
I really thought I know it's something. There was something about farmers benefiting greatly from it, and
yeah, I remember
maybe that was the reason why we're doing it now. Well, okay, yeah, there's
maybe
that.
That's what they taught us in school, and then they just made that shit up. They were just it wasn't the lobby.
I feel so lied. I feel so fucking lied to right now. Yeah, I feel so fucking
they've been doing this since we invented wheat. It wasn't the golf lobby in 1960. Since they invented corn, we've been doing this. It wasn't these rich white people over here who wanted more golf time. Obviously.
Fuck. Yeah, I feel so fucking. I feel so fucking lied to. It's fucked up.
I remember the same thing, it had something to do with agriculture and more time in the field or something.
I think the funny thing with
slaves, they didn't give a fuck about slaves.
What the fuck does that? What the fuck did that matter?
The slaves have more daylight,
longer days. Are you serious?
Yo, we can get these niggas a whole nother hour to fix this problem. What are we doing?
But they let us do it in the dark. They didn't.
But you know the funny thing. the funny thing is, like with a lot of historical facts like that, is like we don't really know the true implications or the truth of why they would, do these things. Like we know what we've been told, but the like daylight savings being started in World War One. Was that not commonly taught in school? I don't know. It was just something that we practiced.
I mean, without actively trying to research it, like I don't know, like one day, I mean, maybe one day one of us would have gotten so mad. It's like, why the fuck are we still doing daylight savings time? Maybe that day would have been today. But we had our fact checker tell us, like, she's like, nah.
We would stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance, or we'd sing the Star Spangled Banner without really knowing the history of these things. Like, they don't do the Pledge of Allegiance in schools.
Oh. There's a lot of oof.
Yeah, they don't do it. I remember doing that every morning. You had to stand up, make the flag, put your hand over your heart.
Yeah.
Recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
What? Hey, like, was it Chris was telling us that like the kids aren't allowed to dress up for Halloween anymore, like in school either.
Yes. Yes.
And I was like, what?
Yes. That's what
this whole time I'm thinking, holy shit, between that and the Halloween, between the no Pledge of Allegiance and the Halloween, I'm thinking the Jehovah's Witnesses actually ended up winning at some point.
Yo,
hey man.
I mean, that's what our friends were telling us. That's what our friends were telling us. Because they don't celebrate. They don't celebrate. I mean, they observe a lot of holidays, but like at the same time, they don't observe certain holidays like Halloween because they want to be culturally sensitive, or they don't want to be culturally insensitive to all of the kids and their parents. So Halloween's out. But
that's such an arbitrary thing.
But Jewish holidays are pretty much run the fucking show, and in school, especially at this time, especially in this first half of the year. Oh yeah, Jewish holidays run the fucking gamut, right? Like entire weeks off, not like for schools, but like just observing the holiday, right? Like entire weeks, crazy? Certain days. Like
I don't know what Jewish holidays are.
Since
I know Yom Kippur.
Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur.
Since Frank touched on the Jewish thing, and I don't mean to turn this into a Jewish thing, but it's football Sunday, right? And I just saw a commercial. I just saw a commercial during one of the football games that were talking about Jewish hate, and they said Jewish hate is up 50% or 45%, 40% in the U.S. And they tried to blend the Jewish hate issue. Personally, I don't know any Jews. There are people that active practicing Jews, to compare the hate levels to. But they, at the end of the ad, they put up the word Jewish hate, and then they switched it out with Black hate, Asian hate, LGBTQ hate. It was like one of those ads, one of those commercials.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was weird because that's the first time I've ever seen a Jewish hate commercial to bring awareness to the levels of Jewish hate in the U.S. And I'm like, who are all these Jews that are being hated on? I mean, I don't know. I don't know any Jews.
Or wait, who are all these people hating on the Jews?
Yeah, well, yeah, true that too. True that.
Like,
is it possible for Black Americans to be racist? Do you guys know any Black Americans that hate people because of their skin color, or do you know any Black Americans that hate people because of the religions they practice? That truly hate.
I don't personally know any.
I don't personally,
but I do know for a fact
it 100% exists.
Sure, really? That Black people hate white people?
Niggas can be racist. Yes.
No, you're right. It could exist. It could.
No. It does exist. It's 100%.
I just don't know any. I feel like Americans are some of the most accepting group of people.
There are Black folk that are racist against other Black people. Legitimately racist. Like.
Yes.
Like terms and definitions reaches the level of
like you guys remember why you guys watched the Boondocks, right?
Yeah.
you guys remember the Boondocks, right? You have like Uncle Ruckus, right? Like that is not so much of a caricature of
or like a
people,
Django
like
Unchained,
Uncle Tom's.
Who was
like Samuel Jackson's character, right? Uncle Tom's, right?
Yeah.
Like
that shit was funny.
Uncle Tom,
Steven,
the Uncle Tom stereotype. Yeah, it was Steven. the Uncle Tom stereotype, like that actually exists. You know, you might not know anybody personally, but I would say that type of person is a lot closer than you might think.
I don't know. I guess in my personal life experience, I think Black Americans are some of the most accepting group of people because of the history that we've been through. Like, I don't personally, and I guess my experience only encompasses a small area of my reality, right? But I don't know any Black people that hate Asian people because they're Asian, you know, or like that hate Jewish people because they're Jewish. If I hate you, anybody in my circle, if I hate you, it's because of something of your character, something of your person, you know, not something because you're a certain ethnicity, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing, like, remember, it's always such a small, like, here, the people who are like outright like hardcore racists, like a lot of America is pretty diverse, especially in the cities. Like we grew up in a diverse area, right? You live in the city, you live in a diverse area, you interact with different kinds of people. It's hard to build tolerance, so it's hard to be outright racist. Yeah. A lot of people who are racist, it's such a small percentage of those groups, right? Like of all white people, the percentage of white people who are like Nazi level racists are like, it's a very few. I mean, there's a lot of white people, so you get like a good chunk of them when you get like what 2-3%. Sure,
it's just proportionate.
Yeah, it's just proportionate, right? But out the whatever percent of the Black people are, you got like a 1-2-3% of like hardcore. I hate whitey, and it's the whole thing.
And you think about also. You also think about like the one Black dude you saw in the Trump rallies, right? Like,
right, yeah.
Like, you know, people were like, "Oh, he was planted there because, you know, we wanted to make it seem like that Black people support Trump too." Man, no niggas support. He's gonna be out there supporting Trump.
But
that nigga did. You know what I mean? He was there.
I know we're swinging topics all over the place, but me and Juice had conversations about that whole Trump thing, and maybe there were some Black people who supported Trump.
Of course.
Because he was Trump, but just because they were tired of the status quo and they wanted something different in office. You know,
tomato.
Hey, and I saw a post on Instagram the other day. If you love Trump or not, you have to admit he was funny. He was entertaining. Like, remember they had like a compilation of him, like people were cheering him on when he first started getting into the rally. He was dancing and all this, you know. It was like a little clip compilation.
Dude, Trump is one of the funniest. Trump's one of the funniest niggas alive, man.
He's an entertainer. Because he's an entertainer. He was a celebrity that fucking became the president.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. You have all these other celebrities that have been trying to run for president, and it's like we finally got one. We finally got one that made it, and it's this motherfucker.
Hey, like, Reagan.
Oh, hey, sure.
But like at the same time, it's like these Bamas also be terrible, and Trump.
Yeah.
Look, we about to go down a whole nother pulling.
I
never got to talk about the whole. I never got to talk about the whole stuff going on in court recently.
Oh, goodness.
We haven't gone there. We haven't talked about it recently. So but I definitely know that's
we might as well touch it for a few minutes now.
I don't know. A few minutes.
Okay, look, we're at 18 minutes. Let's go to 25 or 30 minutes talking about it. You know, we can do that. We can stay within 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Thinking Trump about to go to jail, son. Like he's going to jail.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Look, the election's coming up soon. You have to garner anticipation and excitement for it. What better way to do that than to put Trump under some kind of scrutiny? And you know, like we have to admit,
his lawyers
like Trump or not, the presidency of the United States has not been entertaining since he left. You know what I'm saying?
It's not supposed to be.
Jail.
It's not supposed to be. You're right.
It's not supposed to be.
You're right. But it wasn't before. And there was like, you're tired of the presidency because they say the same thing, whether Democrat or they come in and say the same thing. At least Trump broke up the status quo, and
they don't say the same thing.
Different.
But what actually resulted from
Republicans are very, very
from his entertainment factor, his fun factor with the presidency. What actually resulted from that Was it anything good? No.
No.
I would say some of the same things that resulted in the presidents before him and the president after him. You know, like it's the same.
What?
You joined the team. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there were international conflicts involving the U.S. before Trump, during Trump, and after Trump. So it's the same.
But which ones is
kind of
important?
the same thing.
Which ones is an important distinction?
And
which
I feel like if you're going to do the same thing,
is an important distinction.
As any president, you at least got to be funny. And at least Trump was funny, you know?
You don't have to
like
be
we
funny
like
to be a
talking about
president.
Trump.
Who said it had to be funny? Who's like, I need the funniest president to run my country?
I think before Clinton like started like I guess he unofficially started this like, you know, popularity, celebrity, like this popularity poll or celebrity poll.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Yeah.
Well, you did though, but but since him, I guess that's become like a factor. But it's like that's way outside of like what you're supposed to be there. You're there to do a job, you know. Mm-hmm. You're there to do a job. You're supposed to run this country, and you have all this fucking help, all these fucking people, whatever party you're a part of. You still have a job to do. And it's like that's where, you know, your popularity is. That's where your popularity should be, I should say. Like, you know, how well are you doing your job? How much are you paying attention to policies that you're trying to implement or are trying to change? How well are you with staying within this role, controlling all of these different factors, not that are just going on in your country, but international relations,
which is where the president's like real like power comes in, dealing with international affairs, right?
Exactly, because we're just one country out of however many, right? And it's like you're the leader. You're supposed to be the de facto leader of this nation. So
I mean, remember Trump single-handedly tore up the agreement we had with Iran, with the nuclear agreement we had with Iran. Just went in and was like, fuck that shit up. And now they're enriching uranium right now.
He definitely
the
brought
thing
us to World War III.
Definitely didn't want them to do, right? So
right.
I don't know. I think
it's not about whose side we are on, but in a way, Trump not knowing what he was doing and doing things just to be popular, and people like, and we see that Trump was doing things just to be popular with his base. Because remember, before that, he was pretty liberal. He's still really liberal in a lot of things, but he pivots for the popularity of his base
because he's playing a character, because he's an entertainer.
Well, you have to, because he probably didn't expect to win the presidency of the United States.
He didn't expect to win.
As far as enriching uranium,
that's correct. He didn't expect to win.
No, at all. Yeah, he was surprised as everybody else was.
Yep.
But as far as like enriching uranium, America has always tried to impose their will of what we think that other countries should be doing. That happened before Trump. It's going to happen after Trump, whether Trump's in office again or not. But I mean,
it's about how you do it, right? Because
I think a lot of people, or the American public, we don't know enough about how the presidency of the United States that is run, as far as details, to know whether a president's doing their job or not, right? Like, are you a figurehead or are you an actual leader who, you know, you said a lot of the president's power comes internationally. Well, what about domestically? Like, if your power is in your popularity, wouldn't you want to drive your popularity? You want to drive your base. And, you know, I'm not defending Trump. I'm just trying to say why he was doing some of the things he was doing.
So,
you know,
so you're speaking about things that, you know, about how this is always how it's been. And this is true. That's true. But all of that, right, is done before they actually get inaugurated and step into the role.
I agree.
All of that is done. All of that. And after that, it's not about maintaining the promises and popularity that they try to gain. before they step into the role. Now it's about.
But isn't it supposed to be though? I mean, if you promise me free health
Not
care
after you
on
win.
your campaign trail and you
Nope.
don't deliver on free health care,
Historically, that has
That's
not
a
been true.
measurable. Well, yeah, but again, that's a measurable thing. If you promise something, whether or not you did it, it's something you can measure. So the things that Trump promised, the wall,
that was
do
ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Funny. It was funny,
but
it was funny though.
It wasn't funny. It was scary to a lot of people.
Remember all the memes of him building the wall,
Yeah,
and the guys just going underneath it and shit. You know,
Yeah. But
it was funny.
But then again, like Trump made a number of promises, and whether or not how you measure whether or not he was a good president, like good even by his own terms, was whether or not he did the things he said he was going to do. I think he didn't do most of. I don't think he really accomplished anything aside from tax cuts from what I heard, huge tax cuts for like the 1%, and that was it. Like
I feel like
which
a part of that. I feel like a part of that too is because he didn't have enough time, right? Like I feel like in his own
he tried to get it, didn't he?
He sure did. He sure did.
He sure did try to get some more time.
And I feel like it's like in his own way strategically, and it's a really bad strategy. And he did it in an absolute worst way, in the wrongest way that you possibly could. But I think he tried to do everything that he promised, and he was met with a whole bunch of political walls, like a whole bunch of just like literally every person that's in Congress, on his side, not on his side, just blocking him, saying you can't do that. Like you can't do that. Like you can't do that. At least you can't do this right now. Right? There are laws in place. There are laws that are coming. Like there's due process. Like that, you can't do that. You can't. You can say it, but you can't quite do that right now. So like I think in his own way, he really tried, but he fucking couldn't because of the government, because of the way it works.
But again, that's part of the issue right now, right? It's the bureaucracy, right? So the bureaucracy of the United States, the what did it say? The United States or any government, well, particularly the United States, is like a giant ship, right? And if it's heading towards a certain direction, you need to change the direction of the ship. You up here spinning your wheel, but the ship is turning like this because you have thousands, and for us it's hundreds of years and hundreds of thousands of lawyers and paperwork moving very slowly, right?
Paperwork.
And in a way,
bureaucracy.
It's good that we have that because it makes it so you don't just have
checks and balances.
President dog. Checks and balances is the thing that holds everything up. Yep. Otherwise, a dude comes in and was like, haha, I'm doing this, doing that. You're not a citizen anymore.
I'm gonna make a wall.
You're not a citizen anymore.
All immigrants out. Right? And I'm gonna deport everyone I'm gonna deport every single person that's not an immigrant.
Have those.
I totally forgot about the wall. And Juice just reminded me. That was funny though, man. Like, you gonna build a wall, bro? Like, seriously? Like, where are we going here? Like, this guy was there just to entertain. But that's really kind of what you miss.
And also like, because I used to work for EU, or Executive Office for Immigration. So like when Trump was in office, he brought so much money and unfortunately cases to the immigration courts all over the nation. Yeah. Right? Because immigration cases were they were already bad, like like there was already such a backlog, but they just like skyrocketed through the roof. Like everything was immigration, right? Because that was his main gripe, right? His main policy, like that was what he wanted to change, right? He wanted to make America great again, and all that shit. So like immigration, that was the fucking name of the game for those 4 years under him. And the point of the matter is, like, when he was in office, I think he tried to affect as much as he possibly could, because he was still attacking the presidency like a celebrity, like an entertainer, someone saying like, oh, I can, I'm an actor. I can lie my way. I lie for a living. I can lie my way out of this. You know, I can lie my way better than all the other fucking politicians that have been before me that have already lied their way into this and out of this and shit like that. So like, I think strategically he just did it the wrong way. He tried to do it, I guess, what he thought was the right way, but he did it the wrong way. And then he got checked and balanced.
Lack of
where he couldn't
experience.
completely.
Yeah.
You know, who would have fucking thought? But then it makes you also wonder, like, what if there was the alternative? What if Hillary won? What would have happened then? You know, would it have been a more
we will
normal
probably
presidency?
still have Roe v. Wade. We wouldn't have a.
You really think so?
Yeah, we would not have the Supreme Court we have right now.
This is true. That's true.
Like, and I think that's the only reason because RBG went out when she did, and then we put on Kavanaugh, and who was under Trump. We wouldn't have had to deal with Kavanaugh or the replacement of RBG.
RBG.
Then, yeah. Yep. Then we'd still have at least a non-hyper-religious Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what happens when the president wins.
Well, fellas, we're at our 13-minute threshold. If we
didn't get to talk about Trump going to jail.
Yeah,
well, we said it.
See? That's why
I agree.
The threshold.
We said it. I agree.
All right, fine. Well, he's
we
going
can
to jail.
keep going. Like, hey,
we can leave it like that. But we got Marvel to talk about. We'll put him in jail soon.
I think unless they have something concrete on him that is criminal activity, I think the most he's going to get is a slap on the wrist. Maybe barred from running. No. I don't know, man. Wealthy people have always have ways of escaping the system. The justice system doesn't work the same for wealthy people.
That's what makes this so good, because the rest of the wealthy people hate this nigga.
Not the rest of them. Like they don't. You know, because I wanted to touch on Dave Chapelle since he had put him in the. But I mean, it's just like Dave Chapelle said about Trump, man. Hey, he's talking about me. He's talking about the wealthy people. Like, he's not helping the poor folks. He was already wealthy, you know? So I think a lot of people do hate him, but he probably has a lot of them in his corner as well. I think there's a lot of wealthy Trump supporters as well, man. Like, he wouldn't garner nearly as much attention today if he didn't still have the same support base as he always had, which is a large amount of people.
I only think he's garnering attention now because he was the former president.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only reason. Like right now,
and
to be honest with you,
and because of the attention that he brought to the presidency of the United States, you know, I mean, especially when you compare him to his
former president,
the person who came after him, like Joe Biden's a snooze fest.
I mean, he made history. I mean, I think he made history in some regard, where it's like, yo,
issues with Joe Biden.
You definitely lost. Like, you absolutely lost the election, but somehow you're still the president. You still won.
Yeah, which was ridiculous from the jump. We should have known we were getting into, man, from the jump street. Like, you lost, but you won. Wait a second.
No, we did.
That's why we had elections.
How many court cases? It was like, what, 60 court cases?
Yeah.
60 court cases. He went to court about 64. This election. 64 and lost like 62 of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But he's still running around talking about I won, they stole it from me, yada yada yada. And then you had the slate of alternate electors. Bro, they got this joint in messages, man. Like, they have it. This nigga tried to do a coup. Like, he tried to do a coup. They got it. They got the paperwork. They got the recordings. They got the texts. And all of his team done flipped on him.
And then
explain maybe Giuliani.
And then explain January 6th. And explain January 6th. Explain that.
It's over.
How the fuck did that happen?
It's over.
That was wild. I remember that day, man. I like, because, you know, I work at night, so I'm sleeping in the afternoon when everything happened. And I woke up and that shit was all over the radio. I had notifications on my phone. The Capitol building raided and all this shit. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? And then you see the videos, you're like, oh.
Yeah, like, I don't think in my lifetime I would have ever heard anything like that happen.
Do you think they were allowed to do that?
Guys, we live through history, man. It's crazy.
We really are.
We really are living through history. Multiple events have happened in the last 5-6 years.
The White
Like,
House
including now.
supposedly the most secure facility, one of the most secure facilities in the United States, in America, getting raided by Joe and Sally Schmo over here, and fucking Anon and QAnon and fucking like normal ass people just walking in there, and nobody's getting killed. Nobody's getting detained.
But I think they were allowed in.
Like one person got shot.
One woman got shot.
One person got shot.
Yeah, one woman got shot, and she's fine. Right? No, or did she die? I'm sorry.
No, she died. She died. Yeah,
she died. My bad. She died. But I'm just saying though, like
with all that, police power so close, you figure more people would have got killed. That's why I'm saying my conspiracy hat.
Absolutely, more people should have gotten killed. More people shouldn't even have made it 50 feet, 100 feet of that fucking building, 100 feet of the fucking gate, which is like 500 feet from the stairs to get
right. And it's not like you could just walk inside the building. You have to approach the building. So how did you? But
there's no need for a conspiracy because we have the simplest explanation: Occam's razor. Cops don't like shooting white people, man. Like that. If it was just a bunch of I'm sorry, Occam's razor. Y'all think it's crazy, but I'm serious, man.
There was a bunch of niggas.
If it was,
we would not have made it.
If it was Black Lives Matter,
we would not have made it. We would not have made it. Yes, they would have been. They would have brought out everything.
What do you call it? The National Guard would have been there. They'd have had the fucking. The Navy out there.
Helicopters flying overhead, literally firing on niggas. It would have been. It would have been a fucking massacre.
Ain't no two ways about it, man.
I don't even think even just black people. I think anybody but white people. If they would have ran up in there, you know what I mean?
See the thing about that too. It's like it should have been everybody, not
right.
Yeah, it should be like
anybody but white people. It should be like anybody and white people. Anyone gets a certain distance from the White House, they're supposed to be considered a threat. After they're considered a threat, you have to assess that threat. If they decide to keep trying to get in forcibly with forced entry, then there are orders. You have the Secret Service. You have officers out there, military, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. So close.
Put them down.
Hey, remember I said one person got shot?
Yeah.
I should laugh at this. It's not funny. It's not funny.
You laughing though?
Stop. I'm trying to be serious.
Okay.
But one person that got shot, when all these white people raiding, she got shot by the black cop who was like, "Yo,
that's right.
You know what, bitch? That is fucked up. Come on, why are you making us laugh at that shit?
It's not funny, right? But at the same time, this nigga was scared as shit. Imagine.
Imagine seeing
black cop.
Yeah.
With his
imagine seeing 6 white people
breaking windows around.
Yeah, running up the hallway at you, bro. I lost my cool.
Just white people just like running by back and forth and destroying shit and making their way to the Oval Office and getting in. And you're sitting there, you're like, what the fuck? Nobody's doing anything. What do I do? So it's just like he closes his eyes.
Hey, I don't even blame that brother. Hey, look, he shot that joint. He was like that. He closed his eyes like this.
He's like, I'm gonna just do one shot, just one warning shot.
Bro,
I don't even blame that brother, man. I feel it, man. That was a horror movie.
I'm just saying, I would be scared too.
It's not funny.
Scared too, and it's not
funny because like it would have and could have. Unfortunately, I hate saying it like this, but it would have and should have been so much worse.
Yeah.
If whatever, insert reason here as to how the fuck they got into the fucking building, into the fucking Oval Office, into fucking near the fucking White House.
It was the
Capitol building.
It's the Capitol building, yeah.
But like,
which is crazy with congressmen and women there. It's like, where was security? They had to be allowed in. When I saw the videos, I was just like, what? Like, there was nobody. And when we say white people, I mean literally. If you look at the crowd, 99.7% of them were.
I bet you that nigga at the Trump rally wasn't there.
Oh hell no! He knew that. Hey, bro, he was gonna be the first one to get shot.
Exactly.
They were gonna take him out of the crowd specifically.
Maybe that would have been more of a response.
Dang.
But hey, remember there was a whole thing about them trying to figure out, hey, how did they get in? They had Secret Service. They had a list of I can't remember how it exactly went down, but there were Secret Service people who were being questioned, and they were like being investigated. And then I think it was multiple of them, and then all of their cell phones got wiped.
Oh, right. God, so much. I don't remember. There's so much.
Which
I
is
don't
crazy.
remember.
Now I'm trying to take it bigger.
So much went down. Yeah.
I'm trying to take it bigger, like just an idea.
They were just like, oh well,
right? But you think about all the revolts and everything going on overseas and France and and all these other countries. And do you think that America kind of wants to fit in with that narrative, internationally, right? Like if they look and they see on TV on the news that the Capitol building, one of the core centers of leadership in the capital of the country is being run through and allowed to be raided by all these people, like internationally, you kind of fit in with the rest of the group then, right? Well, look, we got strife here too. We got, do you think there was some kind of political play for them to be allowed to do what they did, because it's obvious they were allowed to do it, bro. Like you're that close to the Pentagon, to Andrews Air Force Base is there, Quantico's up the street. Like there's no way you're telling me these people were not allowed in, I think there was something more on the international stage that we just can't see. There's something going on in the world that
internationally, I would say that if I recall that, so when I was in when I was visiting Belgium and stuff, there was a lot of protests going on, and the protests are like all throughout Europe, and a lot of these protests, like they call them the Yellow Jacket protests, right? Because a lot of these are people who, like, they're represented by the Yellow Jackets, people who work Yellow Jacket work, right? People who work like out and who do like the smaller tasks. Anyway, it's a labor rebellion, right? It's a labor strike. So they're striking because of labor and money issues, and the government. If I remember, Corbyn passed some effing gas tax law that like screwed a lot of people over, especially like drivers who are like, part of the Yellow Jacket, like people who were like working those level jobs, and it was hurting them. It was like, why would you do this stuff like that? So a lot of those protests were about that. They got wild because no one would listen. Anyway, I feel like reasons are important, right? And when you have like a labor strike or like labor protests and stuff, when Claudine could probably tell you more about this, because I'm not really caught up on international like affairs, but like these niggas just fucking raided the Capitol because they lost the election. Man. White people.
Yeah,
they're just throwing a tantrum ultimately. Like,
and
I feel like even with like with this whole Gaza thing going on, I guess we can pivot into Dave Chapelle soon if you guys want. He's always polarizing. He's always polarizing, just like Trump. But I'm saying I think there's like something more on the international stage that like us as the American public, we just can't see. Like there's something happening. Like you brought up the bureaucracy of everything and just how the world works, like the mechanics of why things are allowed to happen, and it's just we can't see it because we're busy just kind of living everyday life here. We
busy, man, nose to the grindstone, man.
Of other people, but I don't know, whatever. Yep, we can go on to Marvel, man. Marvel's always fun. It's always a fun topic. I love Marvel. Just take my money. They can still take my money. Frank, did you see Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, I didn't. I've been wanting to though.
Yeah, I took my son to see it. It was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
It was good. I mean,
curious. It's about what you would expect if you ever seen the game.
I actually never saw the game. I get the
Really?
gist of it. Something about
Dude,
yeah.
my
I never
son
played
has
it.
it on the VR headset, man. That shit is scary. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. I got to
Oh
like night
yeah, I would
2
never
and that
play
was it.
that game in VR. Nah,
Yeah,
I
I got
couldn't
through
do
night
it.
2. I was done. I mean,
I
that's
couldn't
it.
do it.
Spooky.
Yeah. Nah,
So
I
we
don't
go.
do scary games with VR. But
No, I'm telling you,
nah, I
that joint
never.
is scary, bro. So we going to Marvel?
Oh, let me see if I can pull up.
Sure. Let's go
Yeah,
more.
Frank, you want to go in on this jump? You can lead on this
Oh.
jump, man.
I must
Because
say, I'm not
you're
excited for the
the
Marvels,
you're
but I'm still gonna see it.
aficionado.
You know?
Oh, that's an honor that you guys think I'm an aficionado. I just think I'm a little too obsessed
Marvel
with
has
going
built up enough.
Marvel.
Marvel's built up enough good equity with me that I'm still loyal, even through a bad Phase 4 and a disjointed Phase 4. Are we in Phase 5 now? Is that what the Marvels is, or is this all still Phase 4?
We are in phase 4. We are in phase 5 now.
Okay, yeah. So
Wakanda
I mean,
Forever
I'm
was
still
the end
loyal.
of phase 4.
I'm still a loyal fan. I expect the movie to be bad because they don't have a good track record lately. But take my money, Marvel. I mean, until you go like the Star Wars route with me and you totally disrespect the main character like they did with Luke, which still pisses me off. Like I'm in with them.
Let's
curious about Luke.
Let's see what happens. So to kind of set up, so Marvel had their annual retreat, like their annual getaway, where they have all of like the big people and groups and companies that are working within, kind of just go away fancy. And yeah, it's nice. It's pretty nice. But they go away and they go away and they drink and they do whatever the fuck they need to do, but along the way, it's also like it's treated as a work function. So during these work functions, they started having some discussions, based off of things that have been going on. So to jump right in, one of the biggest things that they talked about was Jonathan Majors and his whole like what do we do with him? Like his whole place. They set him up to be the next big bad in the next, couple of phases, eventually concluding with Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty. Both was supposed to be Avengers movies in phase 6. And so they basically said that they're basically going to do one of two things, just to kind of just make it easy. They're going to do one of two things. They're either going to replace him entirely with another villain, and that villain being Doctor Doom, heavily rumored to be Doctor Doom, which is somewhat fitting, but Doctor Doom isn't like a multiversal, universal, like he's kind of like a local, like a huge threat, but local, like to Earth, Yeah. But he can do so much. But that was like that's the one thing that they want to do. And it's heavily rumored that they're kind of leaning in that direction. The second option is to just simply replace Jonathan Majors, recast him with another person. But the thing about it is that they really had like a plan, like their sights set on Jonathan Majors. And the thing about Jonathan Majors, like what's going on with him, is that his shit's going to trial now. And I thought we were past this, right? I thought like the girl that accused him of the abuse charges now has fucking like she fled the country at one point, and now she's got a whole bunch of fucking abuse charges lobbied against her, and it's just become a giant mess. So I think a combination of that plus time plus scheduling now has made it so that they have no choice but to go to trial. And so Jonathan Majors is going to be out of the game for a little while longer. So that's the gist of the Jonathan Majors part of this. The second, one of the other things is the next biggest thing is that Marvel is apparently they want to bring back the original 6 Avengers to save their I think it's safe to say fledgling franchise, fledgling whatever the fuck this is now, because the original 6 Avengers they feel are the tentpole that they can rely on to kind of like bring everything back to like the greatness that it was before the end of Phase 3. So there's that. So we're talking about bringing back like dead characters, right? Bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, bringing back Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, and bringing back like other characters who are supposed to be out of the game.
So comic book for me, like that would be like the epitome.
Oh yeah, bringing back that character. That's a normal thing in the comics, like that's just it. I mean, it's unfortunate that like with a movie, they
were out for like what 3 phases?
2 phases.
1 phase.
Two.
At the end of
we're in 5 now, so technically right, 1 full phase they've been out.
And if you could put one more, bring them back in like phase 7?
7.
Yes.
If there is a phase
that's
7.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Logan, Wolverine dies.
I don't agree.
Back 2 years later. Like,
let's talk about that real quick, right? Okay, I get it, right? You have all these characters that, not for nothing, you made a bunch of B-list characters, A-list characters now. Iron Man was no one's favorite superhero before the movies. Captain America, he was up there. He was kind of up there, but he was still a B-list superhero. Thor, C-list Superman. Black Widow, no one gave a shit. Hawkeye, no one gave a shit. The Hulk was probably the only character in the Avengers that people were like, yo, it's the fucking Hulk. Right.
And also they had 2 prior movies of the Hulk before,
right.
Iron
While they were trying to like make, trying to fix the mess that was kind of phase 1.
Which I do like that they made this canon.
But like, let's be real, Spider-Man was and still is Marvel's titular character. I mean, Black Panther was not as popular as he is now. He was still popular like with us, right? But like he wasn't like superstar mega popular like he is now if it wasn't for Marvel kind of bringing him out and making him fucking badass, right? But like Marvel did their thing with making all of these B-list characters relevant, right, in a different medium. Guardians of the Galaxy, who no one fucking knew
like,
who
I didn't even ever follow those dudes.
Rocket Raccoon is probably the only character that people could name out of a lineup that they're saying like, oh yeah, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, but no one knew about Peter Quill, no one, Gamora, Drax, who Mantis, who, but like that was like kind of Marvel Studios' whole thing in phase 1, 2, and some of 3, right? But then Marvel thought like, oh, if we could do this with these characters, we could do it with literally any other fucking D tier characters. So that's why they started bringing like the fucking Eternals, the Inhumans.
I like the Eternals, by the way. I thought that was a good movie, man.
I disagree.
That action was good. I did like the action.
I like the action. I like the technology.
The action was fine. Yeah, the action was fine.
It was good.
But like Marvel, the thing is Marvel started doing the whole, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, right, on the show, outside of the show, but they started doing this quantity over quality business, right? And then in 2020 with COVID, they were like, oh, they probably only had plans for a couple of TV shows, like WandaVision was probably one of them because that was the first one that they already had shot. But like, they're like, let's put everything in TV shows and let's make it all one big cohesive unit. And they started bringing out characters no one fucking gives a shit about, right? Like, and then they lost, the biggest thing they lost since Endgame was narrative. There is zero narrative here, right? And that is the most important thing. That is the most important thing. That is the thing. That is the real tent pole. That is the thing that made you into who you are. Phase 1 had a narrative, right? You had these B-lister movies that fucking knocked it out of the park for the most part. And then you fucking had your season finale with the Avengers. And then phase 2 was the same shit, right? You had these B-lister movies taking some risks here and there. and then you had your fucking season finale with the Avengers.
Boom.
And then
Yeah,
phase
that's how it works.
three was the biggest of all, right? Now you had established characters, right? You know, movie after movie after movie. Some people are getting sequels, second movies, third movies. Yo, you're fucking killing it. You fucking have movies like Civil War. You fucking have movies like Spider-Man Homecoming. You fucking have these like amazing fucking big movies with characters that you've established for the past 10 years by that point. 10 years. And then you fucking have a season finale. And not only is your season finale the biggest one yet, where you're bringing everything fucking together, but it's a two-parter. And we literally had to wait a fucking year for the next one. So we had a huge two-parter season finale, 3-hour movies, and yo, everybody was
flawless execution.
Yo, they fucking this like okay, Marvel's give me this, right? This was
that's
all
what we
built
want.
on narrative. This was all built on narrative, on cohesion. And so you're like, yo, we promise you, like kind of politics. We promise you, we're gonna keep doing this. We're the best studio in the world. We've got all the money. And we're like, yo, yes, put it in my veins. Take my money. This is what we need. This is what we want. This is why you're the best. So they're like, okay, we're gonna put this TV show here, this TV show here. It's gonna all tie together with the movies. You're still gonna get 2-3 movies a year. Yo, you're gonna love us. Okay, let's go. COVID happens, kind of fucking slows things down. It kind of fucking ruins the scheduling a bit, but they still had their plan. But for some reason, the quality, you started to notice the quality starts to suffer. And you have these TV shows, and some are pretty good. But again, a lot of characters, who fucking cares? Right? Because by this point, we're 10 years plus in, and we want to see more of what we had before.
And
right?
even with the TV shows, a lot of the main characters who the shows were named after, several of them, they kind of fell to like second or third string characters in their own shows. You know what I mean? Like Hawkeye took a back seat to the sidekick,
the other Hawkeye,
in Hawkeye, you know, like
to the other Hawkeye.
Even in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the super soldier, the girl, I'm sorry, I forget her name.
I don't know.
She
remember her name
kind of became the main character by the end. You know, like we were following her journey, and you know. And
I mean, U.S. Agent to me shined more than Falcon.
He
and
was
Winter
great
Soldier.
to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they dropped
exactly.
the ball.
I'm taking that.
I don't know, man. I disagree with
good,
bringing back the main cast of characters. Right? I feel like Marvel is similar to Star Wars in that the universe is so big. You can go a multitude of directions, bro. You don't have to kind of rehash the past to make it great again. You know, you can. And Jonathan, I guess for me to bring it back to Jonathan Majors, he was a great way to start. I didn't realize the level of hate that people gave Jonathan Majors for his Kang portrayal. A lot of people did not like him, but I thought he was great. I thought like his acting was good.
Me too.
Really?
I thought
I haven't heard that.
I thought he was. It seemed like he was universally praised.
Yeah, I don't know. I from watching a couple videos on YouTube, Neurotic, and looking at people's comments on a couple videos, like. A lot of people didn't like him, you know. They thought he was kind of a little bit too over the top. But I think just even the whole Kang storyline proves the multiverse is a direction that you can pick to go. We don't have to rehash the past.
The multiverse is a logical next step, right? Because you've gone to space. You're talking about like, you know, like basically like breaching the walls of like the galaxy that you're in, the universe that you're in, with a level of a threat level like Thanos, right? Like who is like universal, like a universal threat.
Reality,
right? Like I think like next to Thanos, you would probably have to have Galactus with the Fantastic Four, but we haven't had them in there yet. But like it's more like multiverse is a logical next step, because not only are we talking about. We're not talking about just the one universe that we're in and breaching those walls. We're talking about breaking through those walls and getting into other realities, other dimensions, and talking about different versions of different characters. Doctor Strange is another character that I was thinking about before. But like different versions of different characters that like, yo, we get to see like, not only do we get to see this acting showcase of this person playing a different version of themselves, but it's like, yo, we get to see like what threads are opened now, because now we know of the existence of this other version of this character, and it just like the mind, just like your mind just kind of like reaches out, it branches out, and if it was executed correctly, it would have been flawless. Now I know that Marvel had a plan that was very kind of different from this one now, but they, once, with the end of Endgame, spoilers, but like the Avengers are no more and there's going to be a new set of Avengers. They were going to hedge their bets and put all of their resources into three new main characters, right? Before we had Iron Man, Cap, and is it Thor? Let's just say Iron Man, Cap, and Thor were the three. Yeah, because they were the first three movies. They were the first three movies. Iron Man, Cap, and Thor, right? They were like, these are the three main guys we're gonna big up, right? We're gonna just like
they all got movies every year.
Yeah, and they had
that
more
all
than
back
two.
around in Endgame to them versus Thanos. The big three versus
Yes,
Thanos.
That moment was great for me because I'm like, yo, if this is it, I knew it was going to be much bigger, but like if this is it, I would be very satisfied with this.
Yeah,
like this is great. So Iron Man, Cap, and Thor were the first three mains. They were going to hedge their bets now on three new characters: Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel. Now, we know the deal with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man doesn't belong to them. They're just borrowing him, right? So they have to fucking fight with Sony and team up with them on occasion, begrudgingly to put out the Spider-Man stories that they wanted. So that's harder to do. Cool, understandable. They were still able to make a phenomenal standalone Spider-Man movie in Phase 4 as a result. Mm-hmm. Black Panther, we all know the deal. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. That fucked their plans considerably, right? We had a huge downgrade, I feel, with Shuri as Black Panther, but she's still there. So, but I think even they know they can't. They're not like so faithful to her as the new Black Panther, because Chadwick was the one in mind, right? And then Captain Marvel has just been very mid throughout. She makes her appearances. She's super strong for no reason, and she, her speaking of her new movies, apparently it was one of the points in this whole Marvel thing discussion that we're having, but like.
She was badass when she came in at the end of Endgame and took down the what was Thanos' ship name? The name of the ship. Remember, she flew through it. She was badass in that one scene.
That's crazy. That's great. That's great and all, but like it
like at that point in the fight, you were like, "Thank God, something positive happened for the good guys." Man, shit, what the hell's going on?
She was, but it seems like she was like almost too much. Right, like it seemed like she was just like too powerful, right? Like give her someone to fight,
give her somebody on par with her.
Give her someone on par to fight. Like it seemed like Thanos wasn't even a match for her.
Like Hyperion gone evil, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that briefly in a minute, but like well, it's not Hyperion but Sentry that I want to talk about. But kind of getting back to the point, they wanted to hedge their bets on Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel. Obviously, that those three have their issues where they can't do it, so they had to pivot really quickly, and that's where the multiverse kind of came in, right? Because I know they wanted to do those three, because Spider-Man and Black Panther are more like down.
Also, they had Nova
superheroes.
They were probably going to, not to mention, they brought in Nova, didn't they? And they have Adam Warlock, right?
Adam Warlock. Nova? No Nova. Adam Warlock, yes, but no Nova.
Okay, because I didn't see the last. I still haven't seen the last Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really? Oh shit!
Dude, you haven't
seen it?
I know. I need to see it. I see it every day. I just
watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, dude, you need to watch it right when we get off here.
It's so good.
But again, like they have so many. So, like you're saying, like they were probably going to go in another direction, going to the multiverse.
Because two of the three heroes are more down on the ground. You know,
they could have went straight out to expanded universe, right?
Yeah,
like
talk
more
like give us
like Annihilation,
give
type,
us like Terrax, you know, like Terrax,
Yeah.
or the Annihilator, or the fuck is this dude's name? I fucking forget. But like
war level,
kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy threats, but like, you know, we're not exactly breaching the multiverse just yet. But
probably would have waited.
But like, you know, so they had to pivot in the multiverse direction. So kind of let's just bring it back to like some of the other things that they talked about. So one of the other things is so I mentioned the Marvels and how I didn't mention actually completely the Marvels movie, the movie that's coming out on Friday, is apparently it was very middling when it was tested, when it was at test screenings and early screenings.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It was just mid as fuck, and it's the shortest movie in the MCU. It's 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes clean. 90 minutes clean.
If it sucks, 90 minutes is too long. You know, it better be good for 90 minutes.
I agree, but it's a 90-minute movie. 90 minutes clean, right? Like it's just a short movie. So it's like just
with
it
the
just made the
heroes.
Exactly.
90 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like to me, it's like about Monica Rambeau too. Like, you know, she had such promise, and I'm scared about like her screen time. That's there.
What I'm worried about.
You know, like I'm scared about like, you know, how they portray her screen time. But there's drama behind that movie, and this is supposed to be Marvel's movie to end the year, right? Like, and it's usually supposed to be like you have like a movie like Wakanda Forever, you know, that ended the year, or you had a movie like Doctor Strange that ended the first one that ended the year. Was that in November, or was that like in the summer? I don't remember. But in any case, the Marvels is ending the year, right? Ending the Marvel movie year, and this year we had Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we had Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then we had Quantumania, and then we have this movie. Ant-Man and Quantumania was mid, like, you know, like was not received well. Guardians of the Galaxy was well received, but then so you had 2 of 3 Marvel movies this year that have received pretty much bad reviews. The Marvels movie also went through extended reshoots. Actually, they're trying to salvage this before it actually releases on Friday.
Which reshoots are never good. We learned that from DC.
They can help. They can.
Whenever
help.
you go back and have to reshoot something, it tells me you don't have confidence in your product to begin with.
I mean, it depends. It depends. It could
even
be
you think it's not good enough. So
reshoot. It's like, I mean, reshoots don't always have a negative connotation. You know, like you could have a reshoot because there was like in the editing bay, the editor noticed that there was like a cell phone in the shot of like a period piece, and you're like, yeah, we can't have that, so we got to reshoot that. So you got to bring in the actors back and spend the money and do like that scene again. You know, so it's just like a correction. Yeah, that's like a correction. You know, it could be just like a simple correction.
Is that or Beethoven's cell phone?
Yeah, or to get, or
like you could edit those out in today's technology. I feel like if there was a cell phone, you could.
It depends. It depends. You know? If it's like during like if you know, you could, but it's like if it's like I guess like a down to earth or a period piece movie is like a Western. You don't want to see a fucking cell phone sitting around, like, because they made that, because
you walk in the background like
shows. Yeah. I mean, there are like shows. One of the shows didn't Game of Thrones make that mistake?
Yeah, like, they had the Starbucks
cup. Yeah, exactly. So it's like
I didn't notice it live, but I saw it afterwards. I was like, how do you notice it like that?
But so the Marvels is very middling. So let's jump into the TV shows real quick, right? So
wait. Let me comment on.
Yes,
I want to comment though, because like, let me say about Jonathan Majors. I think niggas is panicking.
I do too. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I think Cassis is panicking. I think
Marvel
they're just like
is panicking.
Yeah, I think Marvel's panicking for no reason. I feel like don't get cold feet. Don't do a DC. Like, calm yourself, right?
Yeah.
Relax. Yeah. Like, stop listening to all the. Stop.
Look, assess
go
the
with your
situation
plan.
and make a calculated move. Yeah.
You got a plan. Go with it. Even if he smacked the shit out of this chick. Right? Look. Go with the fucking move. Go with the plan, man. All right? Like, you can do it. You can do it. Make the movie good. If you make the movie good, people will forget. And I'm not excusing if he did abuse. I'm not excusing that.
Mhm.
But like what I'm saying is make the movie good. Don't be flip-flopping the last minute stuff and like trying to rewrite your whole game plan, man, because that's how you lose. That's what I want to say to that. Y'all panicking for no reason.
A lot of companies would do that though.
They would.
Like
they
you
would.
had any
And
kind
a
of
lot of
domestic
companies,
violence kind of issues.
a lot of,
trying to sweep it under the rug.
but then you got situations like Kevin Spacey, man, who like it turns out all that stuff they cut him out of, he ain't do it. Same with Johnny Depp. Yeah, it wasn't him.
Yeah, you're right.
Just
Johnny
calm
Depp
down.
definitely got a
Finish that joint out, man. Finish it. Like, calm down. Do your thing. Quit worrying about all that stuff. The gossip strips are gonna talk.
So I'm with you. Right. I think devil's advocate or neutral here, trying to stay neutral here, but you got to look at it from a marketing perspective. Right. It's all about brand. It's all about how much money they put into these projects that are supposed to happen, into this plan, this strategy. Right. There hasn't been another studio like this that's putting together this larger narrative in this way, right? That hasn't had the chance to have to expand over almost 2 decades now. Well, not 2 decades, but like this 15 years this year, actually. 15 years, so decade and a half, right? They haven't had the time to do this, right? Like not in this fashion. You have sequels upon sequels of shit, like Predator movies and Saw movies and like, all of that shit. But like, this is something larger than that. So from a marketing perspective, it's all about brand. You got to keep that brand on point. This Jonathan Major shit, whether he did it or not, I would be like, yo, like, let's say that they had a movie coming out that they had already made with Jonathan Majors. And Marvel made with Jonathan Majors. They already had a movie coming out. It would hurt them worse. It would be like The Flash, right? It would hurt them heavily to put that movie out with all of that controversy surrounding this guy, right? So they're trying to prevent The Flash from happening, right? Because it's at the end of the day, it is always about the money. And
I feel like people went to see The Flash, though. Did they do bad numbers because it was a bad movie, or did they do bad numbers because people were like,
it was both. It's both. It's a bad movie and it did bad numbers.
Huh?
I thought The Flash was a good movie. I don't know. I thought a lot of people were satisfied.
People went to see the people who went to see The Flash.
I didn't like it.
Either just wanted to go. No, I didn't like it either.
Flash. It was really bad. I don't know. I felt it. I don't know, man. I'm trying to remember.
So
but it was a number of things that I thought. I was like, this isn't good.
The Flash.
CGI
the Flash
baby
was the
never good.
Okay, that scene was kind of wacky, but the Batman that was featured in there, he was cool.
I love Michael Keaton as Batman, but he was wasted.
Yeah. Even Michael Keaton, but even the Batman that was during that scene with the falling babies, whatever, that whole chase scene with Batman.
That was like
was that
brief.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah, that was Ben Affleck. Yeah,
I couldn't tell because they had I thought it was a different actor.
No, it was Ben Affleck. Yeah, he was talking.
I liked it. I thought it was good. Even the Flash that was going back in time and came back all corrupted and everything. I like that movie, man. I was entertained. I was thoroughly entertained by that movie. I don't know. I think Marvel, man. I think they have nobody to blame except for themselves for the conundrum they find themselves in. Right, like it's natural to have to move on. These actors, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, who's the actor, who's the one who plays Star-Lord, Chris Pratt. I mean, you kind of found like a diamonds in the rough with these guys because they had so much charisma to go with the good stories you were telling in these movies. And also you were tying all the movies together. Like Frank was saying with the narrative, like it was like a living comic book playing out on screen over the course of 9, 10, 11, 12 years, Like, and we started staying in our seats after the credits because of Marvel. You know, like, so a lot of this
Marvel
also had
definitely
reputation
did
built up in it
something.
too.
Marvel's
Marvel's not used to being the struggling company like these, like Warner Brothers with DC. They're used to being the kings of the hill. Like, so this is uncharted territory for them.
Great point.
So I don't blame them so much for zigging where we think they should have zagged, because they should panic. They're not used to this shit. Oh shit, we're fucking up. Like, especially in our cinematic universe, they're not used to this.
It's not like, to be honest, I don't know if it's like that. I don't know if it's just that they're fucking up. There are just elements outside of their control. Yeah, that I don't think they're handling as expeditiously or correctly as they should. The Jonathan Majors thing, who saw that coming, right? Nobody. Right, yeah. But like
I feel, again, I keep going back to like they're playing it up, man, because like all right, you mentioned the whole thing about the CAA dropping him and stuff.
His agency.
Like, is that coming out again? Because I feel like I remember hearing that the first go around. Or was something he had like stepped away from the first go around before the incident, and then now this CIA thing.
I think his agency stayed with him until the shit went to trial, and then when they were saying like, oh, it's gonna go to trial, then they were like, now we have no choice but to drop him. Again,
I thought they're saying they dropped him before the incident.
Oh, was that what it said?
Yeah, I think that's what it said.
Oh, okay. My bad. Never mind. So yeah, I guess they just dropped him.
It's all about perception and image, and like, look at where the incident even happened. New York City, you know, that's like, you can't get on a bigger stage than that. You know, like, maybe if it would have happened in some backwater town somewhere, it might not have been as major, you know, pun intended, as it is.
I see what you did. But like,
I mean, still at this point, man, Marvel, I still am on board with you guys, man. They haven't made the best decisions. And I think, like I said, they struck lightning in a bottle with just the actors they had, man. Look at all the charisma in the room, man. Chris Hemsworth is funny. So not only did you have good stories to go along with the narrative of this overarching threat that's spanning all these movies, you also had the humor and the charisma to go with it, with Robert Downey Jr. It was perfect. It was like a perfect combination for kids, for nerds that like action, for adults that like humor.
Let me ask you a question.
Like, you had the drama there. They lost all of that once they went to phase 4 because they
ask you a question.
They restarted.
What is all of that without narrative?
Yeah.
They had the narrative to be able to do all of what you're talking about. Where is all of that without narrative?
Yeah.
Right. Nowhere. Would we have went to watch Iron Man 3 if we didn't have the idea that there was another overarching story that this movie would play some role in? Right.
Yes, we probably would have, but the anticipation maybe
after not. But I sure shit didn't see. Yeah, maybe. I feel like, over narrative.
You mentioned Marvel keeping us in our seats before, right? Like, that was because of narrative. That was because of their tight plan that they had. It was almost machine-like, right? It was almost like with machine-like precision, where they had a plan for a movie upon a movie upon a movie. Yeah, you took some risks, but one of those risks worked out in a huge fucking way. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my god! Like, they took a huge fucking risk with that movie. They put it out in August, right? That's the dead zone for movies. August, September, October, dead zones for movies, right? Like, they put it out. They put it out in August. They put it out like in a year surrounded by 2 other movies that were big.
And most people went to see that movie just off of the
word of mouth
that Marvel had built up with them.
It was word of mouth. It was
like
word of mouth.
We didn't know anything about Rocket Raccoon. I didn't know anything about Guardians.
Nobody knew anything, and nobody gave a shit. Nobody knew anything, and nobody gave a shit. But now, look,
right now, that's one of their best movies that they.
That's one of their best. That's one of their best groups, right? Mm-hmm. Like, outside of the Avengers, like that's actually a fucking team movie that you can get behind.
And right? I feel like Marvel kind of dropped the ball, whereas like you didn't use any of my favorite word of the day is equity, as you can tell. They didn't use any of the equity they had built up with some of the B-list characters, right? Like, you could have spun a movie with Hawkeye and Black Widow. You could have spun that into a trilogy or a double movie somehow. I think the focus fell, especially after COVID, on trying to up and kind of build up Disney Plus, where their cinematic world kind of faltered because of that. You know, you could have built something on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You could have spun that into some kind of movie, you know, the trilogy for Falcon and Winter Soldier and for Hawkeye and Black Widow. I mean, maybe a lot of it had to do with the actors being tired of playing the roles. Maybe they just couldn't work it out that way. I feel like they totally pivoted and got away from what made them. You should have used some of those B characters, some of those behind the scenes guys, man, because we were on the journey with them. Think about Hawkeye. We were on a journey with Hawkeye since the first Avengers. That should have been he deserves some movies. He didn't deserve a show where he took a backseat to another character in his own show, you know? Like, so maybe some way to tie WandaVision into Hawkeye, into Falcon and Winter Soldier, but do it cinematically in the movies. It could have still driven that monster that was the MCU, you know?
So let's pivot to the TV shows real quick, just a few minutes, right? The TV shows have you remember the whole thing that Bob Iger said, was it like earlier this year, right? Like where he was like, yo, Marvel needs to pivot. We are going to make Marvel pivot because it's too much bullshit, right? It's too much, too fast. Like, you know, he's an asshole. Fuck that dude. But he was right. He was not wrong, right? Like, it's too much bullshit. We need to slow things down. DC had a very similar strategy before James Gunn took over, right? They wanted to pivot completely from what was being put out, and they wanted to put out like superhero movies. That's what they termed it. Like they wanted to put out like real story driven superhero fare, you know, that people could get into. And, you know, whatever, DC's doing their thing, I guess. But like, it's a matter of it's the Flash was awesome. Nah, I didn't like the Flash at all. But like the thing about the TV shows, like Bob Iger was right. Fuck that dude, but he was right. He was not wrong.
I'm confused. What he said? Pivot away from TV.
Not pivot away from TV.
Is that what he's talking about?
No, not pivot away from TV. He was saying that it's too much. That it's too many movies. He was basically saying what Marvel is discussing right now, right? Like he was saying that there's too much. There's too many movies, too many TV shows. It's all fucked. It's all getting fucked up, and they want to not pivot away, but just reduce the amount of content that's coming our way.
Like you said, with regards quality over quantity.
With regards to, I mean, that's an executive. That's an executive. That's an executive at Disney. So he has control. He has the majority control over what fucking happens in that regard. DC fucked up, you know. So like let's talk about the TV artists. So talking about the TV shows real quick, then I want to just pivot to one more movie, and then I think we can table this discussion for another time. But like the TV shows, right? It's still, in my opinion, it's still way too much, right? Now this is the point where I want to go in, because at this point I don't fucking care anymore. I have not watched a fucking Marvel show since Ms. Marvel. And even then, I was barely paying attention to that, even though it was fun.
What's Moon Knight?
I did watch. Did that come out after Ms. Marvel?
I don't remember. It might have came out before.
I don't remember.
It might have came out after. I don't remember. But anyway, Moon Knight.
If there was anything, Moon Knight was the last show that I watched, like from beginning to end. I haven't watched Secret Invasion. I haven't watched the new season of Loki. I haven't watched what the fuck was the show right before Secret Invasion that just came out?
Midnight, or the Wolf at Midnight?
Yeah, the Werewolf at Midnight. I haven't watched that.
Was like a movie though. That was a mini movie.
Yeah, and I wanted to watch that because like that was different, right? But like I haven't watched anything. I haven't watched anything because it's about, for me, it's about, I've been fatigued for a while, superhero fatigue. I just have. It's just with that, and I've been trying to stick with Marvel, but I've just been getting absolutely fucking bored with each subsequent movie that's come out, right? With the exception of two standouts, Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. I fucking don't care anymore. Yeah, I fucking don't care anymore. I don't give a shit anymore. I want to see. I'm gonna keep watching the movies, but you can even tell the movies have dipped in quality so fucking much. Just in general, I think the TV shows, they had their place, but I think we need to, like this dude said, we need to scale it back quite a bit, because you're bringing out characters that no one's fucking asking for. The next TV show that they have planned for us is Echo. It looks fucking good. Don't get me wrong. It looks like bringing it back to Daredevil. Yeah, exactly. Who?
We're talking about, wait, that's the Inhuman?
The deaf girl from Hawkeye. You remember Hawkeye?
I never finished.
Remember? Here we go. Finish Hawkeye. When you finish Hawkeye, it'll make sense. But they're bringing the next TV show. They're saying they're bringing is Echo, right? And the trailer looks really good. It looks like it's bringing it back to like Netflix Daredevil like action. He's even in it because like she's his student, right? Like he teaches her.
Echo.
So
okay, yeah, I know.
So the thing about it is though, like, cool, it looks good, but we want Daredevil. We want Daredevil to fit into this narrative. You had him in She-Hulk, he was fucking wasted. We want Daredevil. We saw him in Spider-Man for a hot second. And we want him. We know he exists in this universe. We want to see more of him. We want to see more Netflix of him.
His scene in Spider-Man was awesome, by the way. When he caught that brick and got thrown through the window, that shit was dope. They got me hyped up for Daredevil.
Did you watch the extended version of that movie? He's in it more.
I don't think I haven't seen it. I'm gonna look it up as soon as we get out of there.
I'm not sure if it's on anything, but if you the extended version of the movie, he's in it more. There's more stuff that he does.
I don't think, for me personally, I don't agree with superhero fatigue. Maybe some people are, but I think it's just a lack of good stories that you're telling. Like, we don't, like you said, we don't care about a lot of these characters. Valid. We don't care about a lot of these characters already. They're like Echo. Who's Echo? You know,
no one.
Like, on top of that, you're not telling very good stories to go along with it. You know,
I think
that's where a lot of the fatigue is coming from. Is like, if you interested us beyond just punching and kicking, you know, then we would like what we see. You know, I don't know.
The point is like, no one asked for this.
I must say this though, fellas. Like, I don't mean to sound sexist here on the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast, yo. No, it's not going to be sexist. It's not a sexist comment. I think for the
sexist alert.
I feel like they're pushing a lot of the female characters, and I feel like it's kind of I don't feel like they're pushing the right female characters, right? Like, take somebody like X-23 from Logan. Now, I know that's a whole Sony thing, and they can't just bring her right into Marvel, and it's a contractual thing and all that. But that female character was awesome. We need a movie. Like, I don't care if the character's female. Just give me some badassery to go along with the good story, right? And I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of the, like I was saying, even with the Marvel, even with the Disney shows of Marvel, they push a lot of these female characters, and I feel like they kind of tend to outshine the main reason why we're there. Like, the girl in Hawkeye outshined Hawkeye in certain moments. Like, we got a whole episode or two with just her. Like, Hawkeye was barely in it. So I'm like, I don't care about her. I care about Hawkeye. You know. Perfect
segue. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for bringing that up. Perfect segue, because
like X-23. Can we get a movie with that little girl? She would be the perfect replacement for Wolverine. Perfect.
So in a way, and that very point is the last point. Going back to movies real quick with Blade. The Blade movie that was supposed to come out. You know, the Blade movie was actually supposed to come out in 2 weeks.
Which you got big shoes to fill with Blade anyway. I don't feel like that movie was even going to be as good as the first Blade. You know,
I kind of agree.
Is no one
he's not.
Mahershala Ali is not a physical guy.
Look, Wesley Snipes is literally Blade. right? There's no other person on the planet that can in the world that can like personify that character like Wesley Snipes could. He is literally fucking Blade, right? Like that is facts, right?
Yeah.
But give Mahershala a try, right? Let's see what they can come up with. Unfortunately, that movie has been plagued by serious fucking script issues from the get-go, which is why it has not gotten off the ground yet. The movie was actually supposed to come out in place of the Marvels. Like the Marvels was not supposed to come out until earlier this year. I think the Marvels took Quantumania took the Marvels spot this year. Anyway, so the Blade movie has been plagued by script issues. It's been going through writer after writer, director after director. Like we had like Albert Hughes was pitched to direct Blade, and he actually like his process was actually really interesting because he did like a complete deep dive into Marvel, right, to see if it made sense for him to direct Blade. And when he did, he said he got about halfway through. Like he did everything. He listed out like VFX artists, like writers, directors, actors, and he also listed out priorities and how shit works on the inside. And he said he got about halfway through, and he's like, "I'm not doing this." He's like, "This is too." He says he basically said that everyone at Marvel, it's too much of a machine now. Where if you direct a movie, it's not a movie that you're actually directing. It's them, the corporation, directing the movie, and it's just your name behind it. You have the honor and privilege of getting your name put behind it, which has been very true from fucking Age of Ultron, right? Where Joss Whedon had his issues with directing that movie, and he's like, Marvel took too much control. And then that's just basically how it's been since then. I think maybe James Gunn is probably the one outlier where he was actually able to make the movie that he wanted to make, through and through. Even with his shit on Twitter.
Ultron gets a lot of hate, but I like that movie. I like that one.
Age of Ultron was fine. Age of Ultron was fine. I just think it was literally the first movie, just bigger and in a different
so you
location.
guys like Age of Ultron, but you hated Flash? Because they're kind of similar, if you ask me. You know what I mean? They are. Like, given that Avengers: Age of Ultron had all these, Avengers 1 and then Avengers 3 and then Endgame and all that, Infinity War that came after. But I mean, you had a movie with a bunch of superheroes, some kick-ass scenes. Like, I don't understand what there was not to like about the Flash, except for the Zonky baby scene. That was a little like over the top. Like he put one of the babies in the microwave.
There were other jokes that Ezra Miller that they tried to. There were jokes that just didn't
really.
land.
I thought they toned Ezra Miller down.
Look,
I thought they toned
Ezra Miller.
down.
There was just jokes in general in that movie that did not land, and the fact that they didn't land threw me. Like some of the action scenes. Some of the action scenes were actually really good.
So was that Clara Zor-El?
But I had seen better.
Superman.
Like.
Was that?
She was dope. She was actually kind of hot.
Yeah, I would love to see a movie with her. Like she come out with a.
But they killed her. So what the fuck?
That was awesome about it.
I'll be honest with you guys. I wasn't feeling her. The second she put the suit on, it kind of killed it for me. Like she like when they broke her out of the Supermax prison, I was like, oh shit. This is fucked. Like this is gonna fucking be amazing, and it was great. I love that part.
This came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, like where did she get the suit? And then she gets this, and then when she puts the suit on, I'm like, okay.
I mean, she's Superman. I thought it was different enough from Superman's suit to intrigue me.
Dare to be different. Everyone fucking knows
she was darker. She was
dare to be different though. Everyone fucking knows she's Supergirl. Everyone knows she's an alternate Superman. You don't have to fucking tell us. Like put on the suit.
Didn't like the scene at the end where they were like he was going back in time and they had the time bubble, and we saw what's his name, Nicolas Cage as Superman. You guys didn't dig that scene, man? I thought that was cool.
That was interesting.
Really?
It was interesting that they put it in there, but it was mostly like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's all I got out of that.
And again, the CGI was fucking god fucking awful.
That was bad.
And all of that. That was fucking. It was so bad. Like this is the best you can do. Like y'all had a larger budget than most Marvel movies at this point to make this movie. Y'all are praising this movie up and down. Like there are still like people who worked on
the pantheon of DC movies like Wonder Woman 84. When you have a movie like that versus Flash, like Wonder Woman 84 is as low as you can go as far as a DC movie. Like Flash is pretty high on their list.
They're about the same.
My opinion.
They're about the same.
Wonder Woman 84 like terrible.
So is the Flash.
I've seen Wonder Woman.
The Flash was terrible.
No. Wonder Woman 84 was way worse than Flash. Man, I watched that movie one time.
I don't know about way worse. I remember being just about as entertained by
just have to understand that baby scene, even though you're saying discounted,
that was at the beginning.
Every time
it was a little cringy. I give it was.
Every time you watch that movie, you got to get through that. It's at the beginning.
Luckily, it's early, so you don't have to sit with it. Like it's not like an end pivotal scene, you know.
Didn't they?
No, but there were a ton of speaking of a pivot, but there were a ton of issues with that movie. Like, okay, my biggest issue with that movie, I'm gonna put it out there. I think I've said this before. Ezra Miller is not a good fucking Barry Allen. He's just not. He does not personify the character in any way, fucking shape, or form.
Yeah.
He's not a good Flash. And hey, guess what? Oh my God, the movie's called The Fucking Flash. So you telling me I'm supposed to fucking jive with this character? Who doesn't fucking embody the character at all?
Was more of a DC thing because they were trying to be like Marvel. They were trying to be funny and zonky and crazy, you know. And they just didn't have They tried to give him the charisma that Robert Downey Jr. had.
That's fine, but you have
Steve Rogers.
That's
Steve
fine.
Rogers
That's fine, but maybe take a page from Marvel's book this time around. You have a person who personifies Barry Allen perfectly in a different property. Grant Gustin as CW Flash. That motherfucker is literally fucking Barry Allen. Like, that is it. Like, there again, no one on the planet better than that guy as Barry Allen. Why not fucking cast him? Especially if the other Ezra Miller shit and you had the chance to not do reshoots, that would have been too extensive, but like you had the chance to maybe market it differently, right? Delay the movie. Do something.
I guess I have mixed feelings about DC and Warner Bros. Altogether because when you come out with movies like Wonder Woman 84 and then you come out with a movie like Zack Snyder's Justice League, Justice League is up there with the best Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like it's up there. Like it was intriguing. The action was there. The drama.
Which movie?
You know, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That movie's up there with Infinity War. I mean, to me, it doesn't have the history that Infinity War has building up to it, but just for a pure spectacle, it's really up there, man.
Yeah. It was fantastic movie. Really fantastic movie.
DC's a little hard to judge, but I don't know. I thought The Flash was similar to Age
remember, of they didn't. That's not the movie they released.
No.
That's not the movie DC
that's
released.
Their fuck up. That's what I'm saying. That they're the ones.
Like, look, you got to hit them for their records, not the things that not their side projects.
Yeah.
So
your record is what it is, right?
So let's pivot back to Blade real quick. I just want to get that out there. So Blade. So it's plagued with all these issues. The biggest problem with Blade, Mahershala actually almost walked off. And it's very much in tune with what you said, D, where he was basically relegated to it was gonna turn it. He said that the script called for a female-led movie with valuable life lessons. And he was relegated to the fourth lead in the movie with his name on it. Right, with the character's name on it. So he was like, nope, I'm not doing this. So, Marvel, again, marketing-wise, like, no, we can't have that. So Feige, apparently what he did is that he hired the screenwriter for Logan. And they also cut the budget of the movie, though, unfortunately. Now the movie's tracking at costing under $100 million. So we'll see what happens.
Which can be fine, and they would probably be fine with that if they still had Wesley Snipes because he could cover up a lot of the CGI they would have to use. They need to, and I'm sure they will. Like despite my gripes about Marvel right now, they are very good with keeping legacy
actors involved, no matter where they come from or like what they've done, or if they had an impact like Wesley Snipes did with the Blade movies, at least the first two. If they had that much of an impact.
3 counts, Frank. Don't do that. All right.
What are you talking about? There weren't 3 movies. There were only 2.
Stop it, Frank, all right?
There were only 2.
3.
There were only 2.
It sucked. That's all. But there was 3 of them.
There were only 2.
Oh, you must be talking about the show.
The first and second.
Yeah, the little sticky fingers, right? Oh, that's what you're talking about. My bad.
Fingers. You must be
the one you're talking about that. Okay. All right, that's cool.
That third one was trash though.
With the he did do 3 Blade movies, right? Like, so like even with Marvel's very good about keeping legacy characters. So I'm sure what they need to do is, well, first they need to clear up this script business and they need to keep Mahershala on board. But what they need to do is they need to involve Wesley Snipes, and I think not just in a cameo basis. I think they need to involve him heavily. Like, and I said this before. Either make him the new Whistler or make him the villain. Wouldn't that be fucking wild? Make him the fucking villain, dog. Make him the fucking villain.
Is Blade, how can they introduce Wesley as Blade? It would have to be a multiverse.
Right? Yeah. Multiverse. They're already in it. Multiverse. They're already fucking in it. So make him a fucking villain.
Man. What is so I know there's like a million directors going on with all these Marvel movies, and when you were talking about how like they were talking about how it was too much control from the company, from Marvel reaching down and like kind of just like taking over. Like, wouldn't that keep it so that the storylines, the narrative overall is in line? Because I feel like that's the problem then, right? They're not doing that, they're not doing anything. Because
that comes down to the writers too, right? Like, the writers are not all the writers are not all the same from project to project, right? They have different writers writing for different movies, so it comes down to the script most importantly. So the directors are just there as figureheads, as the face, and any like directorial decisions, camera work and all of that. Sure, they have the right crew and people in place. But the director is kind of sitting there, but they're taking direction from Feige and EPs and investors, right? They're taking direction from them. That's the case in Hollywood most of the time. But like, this is like way overarching, even more so, where it's like the directors literally have, I wouldn't say no control, but they have very little control. Like I said, James Gunn is probably the only outlier here, but like the directors have very little control. Let's go to the Marvels real quick. Nia DaCosta, right? Nia DaCosta basically said the same thing. She's like, I didn't really direct this movie. It was really those guys that directed the movie. I was just kind of like, hey, happy to be here. But she also walked away from the Marvels months before it was supposed to come out. And I think they were still in the middle of reshoots at that point in time. But she had another movie to do. So she left because they didn't need her, because they're the ones directing the movie, not her.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry, I don't know if that answers your question or statement, but like, it's not so much that like it stays the same, because they're not using the same script writers across the board. Then yeah, sure, there would be a lot of similarity and things would stay the same, but there's a lot more to it to work in that machine, a lot more cogs in that machine, where you need like people to pull from source materials, and you need it's different crews, different camera crews, different sound people, different music people, different like everything. It's just all different. But the thing that does kind of keep all of that together, despite all the different people that you're working with, is the people at the top, who are the ones that are actually saying like, I want this movie to go like this. The whole like corporate, what is it called? Corporate interference, right?
Yeah.
With any movie. With literally any movie, almost any movie you can think of, there's been corporate interference, right? This is just on another level, with the biggest movie studio ever in history. So that's kind of like how it goes.
I feel like that's
Let's just gotta see what it looks how it comes out.
Whenever you have like something that involves a creativity, like the creative process, especially with a company like a movie studio, like, you know, they always have interference from the top. Like, look at how much money they spend on all these projects. You know, it almost makes sense that the executives would get involved, right? Because it's, especially with a company like Disney. I heard Disney's been struggling, actually, man. I heard they really are taking a hit because of the lack of cinematic success they've been having. You know,
Really?
like with each one of these movies that doesn't do well, you know, at the box office, they're really taking a hit, and
A lot more cost.
You destroy what made you great when you interfere, but you can understand them interfering a little because they're panicking. That, like I said, Disney's not used to this. They're not used to being not on top. Like for the last 15 years, like you said, Frank,
but
like,
it's not just a little. That's what I'm saying. It's not just a little.
Yeah. It's like they're in there. They're like in the director's seat.
It's like 80%. It's like 80%. It's like 80%. It's like 80% corporate interference here.
Mm-hmm.
With the biggest movie studio in history that has the biggest budgets to work with these different projects that are bringing in. They're supposed to bring in more money.
And then also reputation has a lot to do with this. Ego, you know, like, you know, Disney's struggling. They don't want their stock prices. They want to look like they were the reason that everything worked out at the end of the day, instead of letting the creative process take over and letting the creator, who's actually making these movies and these stories that we as fans are following, instead of letting them have the shine, they want the shine.
Creativity don't make no money.
The thing that
creativity don't make no money.
That's what's going to destroy you. It's going to destroy you more to get involved. Okay, like if Kevin Feige or whoever is running the show, let them run the show. Let them have creative control. Everybody who's in a creative space wants creative control, right? Like, you don't want corporate interference.
So it sucks. It sucks to say, but I'll say it again. Creativity don't make no money. Not in that industry. It just doesn't. Like, it's just, so the thing about it is, like you're talking about, again, the biggest studio, multi-billion-dollar studio, right? Like, you're talking about movies that have made, even during COVID, have made over $1 billion in revenue. That's just going, not all of it, but they're profiting like fucking crazy going back into their pockets, right?
Yeah.
So they have that, and they want to keep doing that, and that is the biggest motivator, right? To just have more money in their pockets, and everyone's bottom line is bigger, and it's basically like, fuck creativity. We're going to try to make this is a fucking vehicle. This is a money printing machine right now, and we're going to try to make as much fucking money as possible.
Yeah.
Fuck creativity. We're going to interfere as much as we want to, and that means if that means like I mean, like, come on, guys. Look at fucking like, let's look at the Marvels again, right? Just because it's a recent example. Look at the Marvels. Oh, let's get it. Let's, you know, like, we're gonna interfere as much as we want to, but we got to keep it PC, right? Like, we got a woman-led movie, so let's just have some woman director who hasn't even really done a good movie yet, but let's have a woman director come in and just like stand in for a credit. She gets a credit towards this movie. She's worked with us. She uses us as a reference. Goes on to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. We'll never work with her again if we don't need to. But, like, it's a matter of, like, they don't fucking care about creativity. They want to take, yes, they still are taking risks. The Eternals was a risk. But they want their risks to work like in the vein like Guardians of the Galaxy. They're trying to find their next Guardians of the Galaxy by taking these risks, these calculated risks, but they're still calculated risks. Right, Shang-Chi was supposed to blow up big. Great movie, great quality. He's supposed to blow up big. He's the next in line to be an Avenger and shit like that. But what happened? Where's Shang-Chi now? There's literally no mention of him.
He's in the Barbie movie.
He's in a Barbie. It's Asian Ken. Like, yo, it's literally been no mention of that character whatsoever. He hasn't cameoed in anything. outside of that movie, or outside of being in his own movie. And it's a shame because that's a fucking character they can possibly tentpole on, maybe pair him up with someone who is a little more of a tentpole and they can really work together. It's like, it's like they don't fucking care. It's money. It's about the money. They have so much of it.
Which I think the humor in a lot of these movies is suffering as well. Because even in Shang-Chi, I like Shang-Chi myself, but the humor in there just didn't land for me. The girl was not funny. I know she's supposed to be like the comic relief.
What do you mean, Aquafina? What do you mean she's not funny? Oh my god,
she just wasn't funny. And like
Aquafina,
I feel like they're missing that charisma that just drove everything. They need to find, and I think Jonathan Majors had it. I think he had charisma. I think that's why they
absolutely
probably saw
has
that
charisma
in him, which is why they wanted to use him.
100% has charisma. He had enough gravitas, right? To carry.
So I think that whole situation with him is just throwing him into a tizzy. Which is why they're having more studio or executive involvement. They're panicking right now, man.
Yeah, they are panicking.
Which is like you said, hey, take it easy, follow the plan, okay?
Deep breaths.
And don't zig too much.
Again, their biggest issue is that it's too much. They're confusing themselves with how much shit they have coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to, like, you're right. You guys are right. They need to fucking stop, full stop right now, and take like a year of nothing to reassess.
Let people miss you.
Yes. They need to take like a full year off and reassess and come up with another fucking plan. Keep Feige because he's the mastermind, right? Sure, cool. But it's hard to do when there's so much money coming your way. And it's like, even though the Marvels is gonna fucking suck, people are fucking still gonna see it. It's still gonna make I'm pretty sure it's gonna make at least $500 million, right?
Just because of loyalty,
just because of the name. Just because of the name, the brand, that's the most important.
And I must say, I'm interested in the Miss Marvel so the girl is from the Avengers video game. That video game sucked, by the way. I know you played it, Frank. Did you play it?
Oh yeah, that game was terrible.
The Avengers video game.
Man, I haven't played it though.
Oh yeah, return it.
I'll let you borrow it. I think I played it maybe for.
Oh my god, return it. Oh, return it.
That shit sucks, man.
Return it. It's
you wanted an open world game, and it just. I mean, it was so repetitive and stupid.
Return it. It's the worst. Just do yourself. Don't even fucking bother.
But I am interested in the girl in the Miss Marvel from there. I kind of feel like we know what Captain Marvel is, and now that I've seen,
I'm more about
really good character.
Spectrum. I'm more about Spectrum by Monica Rambeau. I want to see her.
Now that I watch WandaVision, I know Monica, so I'm like, okay, she makes sense. So. I'm still going to see it. I'm not expecting much, but I'm still going to see it. Take my money, man.
I'm really just hoping for one thing with the Marvels, and that's if for some reason, because Monica Rambeau is there, there's a rumor that actually in the latest trailer that they showed that they're going to finally have their first tease of the X-Men.
That would be dope.
That would be dope.
And the Marvels. So we'll see about that.
Even in Doctor Strange, where that Mr. Professor X's I was about to say Mr. X. Professor X's wheelchair rolled around the side, man. You're like, holy shit, is this are we going there right now? Was the X-Men coming in?
They could have went there. They could have went there, but that scene was purely I don't know what that was. It was fan service, and then it just fell apart. I'm not sure what they were thinking. They just disrespected all of those characters, in one scene.
I'm not only an action guy. I think drama is very important in a lot of these movies, and I think you have to have
because it makes you care.
Element, and it makes you care about what's happening. And that's one thing that Doctor Strange did have. It had drama. That scene was very dramatic. When Professor X got killed. Oh shit, And
it was dramatic, but it just wasn't believable. There's no fucking way in hell that Wanda can win a psychic battle against the greatest psychic mind in the world. No,
she was crazy strong in that movie, and that's before I had seen WandaVision, so I had an issue with it, but I still accepted it. And I think that's what a lot of their movies are missing, man. They just don't have that drama there anymore, man. Even think about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I know Juice hasn't seen it, but think about the drama that was there. You know, like
that was just heart wrenching. Like, just
and
great
they had
stuff.
Action on top of it. You care.
Just great stuff. Yes, because that made you care. That made you want that.
Hold on, no spoilers.
It's not. I'm not spoiling anything, but like that stuff made you like you wanted to see the characters win, right? Like, and succeed, and it's like you wanted them to drive forward, to push forward, and win. That's where narrative is most important, because narrative, again, drama ain't shit without narrative. Right? Narrative is the most important fucking thing. That shit makes you fucking care about these characters. So then when these characters get into these fucking perilous, impossible situations, you're fucking like, oh shit, how are they gonna get out of this one?
Yeah.
You know? Or like, how are they gonna win this?
Quick question though, Frank. Do you think the actor who played, I forget the guy's name in Guardians 3, the black actor guy, right? I forget his name.
The villain?
Do you think he could be a possible replacement for Jonathan Majors? Could he
play? He could. He totally absolutely could. He
that
absolutely
did a great job in that movie, bro.
He did a great fucking job.
He's probably one of the best actors in that entire movie, bro.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is. Man. The thing about him though, like he even on his best day can't compare to Jonathan Majors.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. But he comes close. He comes very close. And the thing about him too is that he even said in the interview, he's like, I wanted to make sure that there was not one single redeeming quality for this character. I wanted to make sure that you will hate me. Oh yeah.
From all the movies that they came out with,
he's by far the most hated villain. He's actually the most hated villain. He's the most brutal villain, I would say. Based off of what he did, the most brutal villain that they've ever had.
Yeah,
like
he was awesome,
hands down. Like he did a great job. He did a great fucking job. I just don't think I think Jonathan Majors is just like up here.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like right here, but he's not. He'll never get there.
So do you agree with recasting, or do you think they should just go in a whole new direction?
Oof.
I don't think they should recast because
I don't think they should recast either. I think I agree with y'all where they just need to not panic, right? They need to make sure that they are making the right decision and that they plan this out and that they strategize and that maybe they should lean more towards keeping him because it fits better with their plan. It's the best outcome. If they keep him, then they can continue on with whatever plan they have. You know,
and I must say I'm excited to see when I saw the Doctor Doom part. I was excited because whenever I think about Doctor Doom, I always think about Fantastic Four 2 with the Silver Surfer. Remember at the end when he got the Silver Surfer's board and you know, like he was awesome. Like I would love to see an updated version of Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom is that dude. Doctor Doom is that dude. He's just not.
But you're right. I don't think he's a big enough villain to carry the whole because
he's almost a big enough villain. He's almost a big enough villain just because of like, you know, how intelligent he is and that he rules an entire nation by himself. You know,
like compared to someone like Kang who was multi-dimensional and you know kind of
my man jumps through time and space. Yeah, my man jumps through time and space. That's a fucking hell of a skill to have. Right, like
but I definitely would not mind them tying Doctor Doom in somehow in these movies. Like, I'd love to see an updated version.
It's coming.
Get a
it's
Fantastic
coming.
Four movie. What the hell is going on with that?
Fantastic Four, fantastic. I mean, the strikes haven't done anything to help. But Fantastic Four, they had people cast, and then those people dropped out. Right? They cast.
I know Sony has a lot to do with a lot of these characters as well. But think about it though, Frank, man. Like even you came out with movies like Shang-Chi, which I liked, Eternals, which I liked. All these other kind of characters that you listed when you had characters there like Fantastic Four. I know Sony has to be involved, but you could have got something worked out. You did it with Spider-Man. I mean, you had groups like the X-Men. You had groups like, think about all the other side characters in Avengers that you could have told stories about.
Again,
they chose Shang-Chi and they chose.
They're choosing characters that they have the rights to, which is less expensive.
Yeah, I know. There's
Spider-Man. They had to pay $2 billion to use Spider-Man. $2 billion, not
Mhm.
million, $2 billion to use Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah, I know there's a
$2
lot of
billion to use,
business and
and I mean,
contractual obligations and blah blah blah.
and I mean the character and his movies have brought that they've definitely made that money back and then some. But like it's about the money, right? They had to pay $2 billion to use this one guy. Now, therefore, he's the titular character. He's the poster child. He's the poster boy for Marvel. But they had to pay $2 billion to use the one guy. Pulling like all of these, like, you know, the Fox property. I mean, Fox is under Disney now, but like pulling these characters when they are not already under Disney, Marvel, is very expensive.
Yeah.
And again, everybody's trying to keep their checks fat. Everybody's trying to keep their bottom lines big. And, you know, putting out billions of dollars just to get like 3 to 5 characters in the hopes that they'll make that money back is very risky. Again, I wish they would plan this better, but they have the money to do it. They just don't want to spend that money because that's less of a bottom line for them. Which I understand it. I don't condone it, but I understand it. Right? It's just cost of doing business. It's just business. At this point,
like I like those movies where they went in phase 4, but you did have bigger groups that you could have used. You know, so I feel like a lot of the problem that they're suffering right now is it's their fault. You know, like they kind of caused their own semi.
A lot of it, yeah. But it's again
because they were suffering before Jonathan Majors. It just sucks because Jonathan Majors was a bright spot to look forward to, and then this shit happens. Now it's like, okay, well, now what? You know, so
yeah,
it does suck. But I'm still going to see the Marvels. I know. Okay, just give a quick rating of what you think the Marvels is going to be out of 5 stars. What do you think it's going to? I'll say 3. I'll say maybe 3.5.
I'll say optimistically, if I'm like pleasantly surprised, it's going to be a 3. But I'm thinking it's going to be like a 2 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, because if a 3 was optimistic, I'm like, damn, Frank's usually like the positive one. He's the optimistic.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty optimistic, but like it doesn't speak to me.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't.
The first movie didn't speak to me whatsoever. Like, but it's a problem. I think it's just a general problem with Captain Marvel. Like, no matter where she is just not interesting. Like comics, she's not interesting. The movie, she's not interesting. In any video game she's been in, she's not interesting. She's just not interesting. So, and it's not just me that thinks this, by the way.
I didn't mean to bring up the whole sexist issue like earlier to try to make it seem like. But do you think that there's a little bit of alienating going on as far like if you think about it, the main demographic fan base are composed of men, you know? And I'm not saying that you can't have strong, because we're the ones who grew up reading these comic books and
so
brought these characters from our childhood.
I see where you're going.
Shown our sons, you know,
I see where you're going.
The comic books and bought them the toys, right? But so it's nothing wrong with a strong female character. I'm all about it, right?
No,
like X-23 from X-Men, strong female, Black Widow, right? Awesome character, man. I liked her movie, by the way. I thought
I did too.
Late.
I did too. It came out way too late. It was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out a year.
I thought Taskmaster could have been a little bit more hardcore.
They fucked up Taskmaster so bad. Like Taskmaster needs to be. Oof.
And I thought the way they even ended the movie was kind of whack, with her like slamming her face on the desk to break her nose, so her sense of smell got messed up.
Yo, that was fucking what? I thought that was dope. I was like, yo.
I was just like, I'm not used to seeing Natasha Romanoff repeatedly slam her face into a desk. You know what I mean? It was just like there wasn't a smarter way for you to figure this out. You know,
it's about getting that shit done.
Yeah, true. I'm all about strong female characters, but just make the stories interesting. I would love the Marvels if the story was cool and there was a bigger point to it. You know,
that's the point. That's the point. And to kind of put your 2 points together, I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit if the characters are women or dogs or chickens or cows or white, black, yellow, red. I don't fucking give a shit. I just want a really great story to make me care about this character.
I do think there's something to be said for the people who think that hold on, Joe, my bad. Just for the people who think that like they're alienating the men by making the men kind of like not able to solve problems and just kind of being bumbling
Fuck that.
idiots and not have that heroic moment.
That's noise.
You know, yeah, I guess I don't know.
Man.
I don't feel like that all the way.
It's absolutely there. Yes, but it's just, to me, it's just noise. It doesn't matter. I'm not threatened by I can't identify because it's a woman. I can't. I don't fucking care. I don't care if the movie sucks. It sucks because it sucks as a movie, right? It sucks because the story is bad. It sucks because the acting is bad. Yeah.
For Captain Marvel, man, I think her main issue is that she doesn't have anybody to like challenge her for real. Like,
exactly.
As a character,
she's too powerful.
She's got the same Superman problem. Like,
yes,
who like you have to have somebody to challenge Superman. Otherwise, he's
really
playing
difficult.
patty cakes the whole time, and he's not under threat. There's nothing to lose.
It's like it's really difficult to write for Superman. I don't know if you guys knew this. But like Superman has very few interesting stories about him. That's why Batman is the go-to.
Somewhere.
That's why Batman is the go-to, because Batman is a literal just a dude, right? He's just a guy, but he is up against sometimes Superman level threats, and he still overcomes.
Like, heroes have to be the underdogs, and when you have a hero this powerful, like how can she be the underdog, right? Unless you're just up against like a psychic.
Going back to that end game scene with her, like you said, she fucking just literally just like came down like a fucking rocket and just fucking blew right through fucking Thanos' ship, crashes the shit. She lands and she's like, "Where's Thanos?" And then she fucking just puts him in a fucking headlock. And she's like, you know, she fucking rips his fucking gauntlet off, and I'm like, yo, this is like
real talk. There's a shit ton of heroes that are out there that are not really being used because they're too powerful.
Like, okay,
just too strong.
Like you were talking about Hyperion before. You were talking about Hyperion before.
Yeah.
So like pivot into the Thunderbolts movie, right? I'm not sure what the status is of that movie, but they did some retooling of that movie too. Like before, it was supposed to be like Zemo. Like Zemo was supposed to be in the movie, and then they had the Hulk, Thunderbolt, Ross be the leader.
Red Hulk.
But they changed it now Black Widow's sister, Yelena Belova, is the leader. And there's no Zemo anymore. But yes, I know. But their villain, because you know Thunderbolts is like a kind of like a Suicide Squad of Marvel.
Yeah.
But Thunderbolt's villain was supposed to be Sentry. Now, do you know who Sentry is in the comics?
Yeah, I don't really follow him, but I know generally what his situation is.
So you know how powerful he is.
Yeah.
Like he literally can OHKO the whole team. Right? Like just by breathing. But so he's way too fucking powerful. And then apparently he has an upgraded form called what the fuck is it called? Something Spectre or something Ghost.
The Void.
This is the Void. Yes, you're right. The Void.
Yeah, the Void. Yeah,
the Void. So when he upgrades to the Void, it's game over, right? It's already game over as Sentry. When he upgrades to the Void, it's game over completely.
It's like playing a Buster.
They're making him the villain in the Thunderbolts movie. And it's like, yo, you got some heavy hitters in the Thunderbolts. It's a fucking legit squad, but there's no fucking. They're gonna have to depower Sentry like a motherfucker, and they're doing it again with their fucking villains. And it's like, why are you even trying with this, Marvel? Why are you even writing shit like this? The Sentry, the Sentry is a Captain Marvel level threat, right? The Sentry is someone you need to put in a Captain Marvel movie and make her fucking eat her own shit, right? like eat her fucking own teeth, right? Like the Sentry is someone you put in a Captain Marvel movie, not in the fucking Thunderbolts movie. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, some of them are pretty powerful, but not like this fucker, not like him. And so they're gonna have to depower him massively, just so that the 7 or 8 of them can take him on and probably barely win. But I mean, hey, it's cool. Ant-Man was able to knock out Kang, fucking Jonathan Majors. So
he damn sure whooped Kang's ass in that movie, man.
It's like, what a world.
Hey, he whooped Kang's ass in that movie.
What a
bro.
world. I can't like, God.
You know what? After this podcast, I'm gonna go back and watch that fight again. I'm gonna watch him knock Jonathan Majors out.
He knocks him out. And
I thought it would have been so much more dramatic if he would have got trapped in the quantum realm. You know what I mean? I know we already went there with the end game.
Yeah. It would have been a much better ending. It would have made more sense. It would have tied the movie together very nicely if they had stayed in the quantum realm. They were trapped there. And then Cassie's like, "Oh, I can get him out." I'm like, no, don't get him out. Leave them in. Leave them in there. Let us care about them. Leave them
visually,
in there.
Quantumania is probably one of the best movies that Marvel's done. Like, that movie looked gorgeous, man. Like, just the world, it looked alien, like it looked different enough from every other movie. It didn't look like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was Guardians of the Galaxy-esque.
It really looked like Guardians of the Galaxy to me.
You said it did?
It did.
No, I thought it looked different. I thought it looked like microscopic and cellular. I didn't think it looked.
It just looked alien. Like,
it did look outworldly.
It had people walking around. It was like people walking around.
Yeah, it was. It was like, fucking, what are y'all doing?
Like, why are there little people here? They're just regular people,
microscopic people and shit.
Like, aren't you supposed to have like an amoeba body or some limbs?
Yeah, like
just a person, just a guy, just Bill Murray.
Yeah, what the hell was Bill Murray doing in the quantum realm? I'm like, yo, Bill Murray?
You doing that? Everybody's trying to get that Marvel money, man.
Right.
Quantum Murray.
See, even that movie with the whole feminine kind of thing, like Ant-Man took a back seat in his own movie. He was barely the main character. Michelle Pfeiffer was the main character. She was doing all the kick-ass solving problem stuff, you know what I mean? Ant-Man was just kind of along for the ride, I
mean, it was the same thing in the second movie. Ant-Man wasn't the main character. It was the Wasp.
The Wasp, yeah. So like, I don't know. I can see how some people would feel like they're kind of shoving the kind of feminine power issue thing in your face. But I think most people wouldn't care if they made the movies interesting anyway. Like,
that's like a very specific angle to take this at.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, you see it in a lot of media, though.
I don't know.
Right? It's not like, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to speak negative about it, but you see it in a lot of media where they're trying to shoehorn. It's not just, it's not just women, right? Like female-led stuff, but it's like, it's like gay people, trans people, and again, I don't fucking care. It's all good.
Just make the story good. Yeah.
Make the story good and make it make sense. That's all I care about. But that's where they fail, right?
Yeah.
They're checking a box saying like, oh, black people had their turn, right? We had Black Panther, they're good, right? Latino people are getting their shine now. Blue Beetle, they're good. Let's give gay people, let's give the LGBTQ community their shine, right? But they fail massively at making it make sense. Either they pay too much attention to the fact that they're LGBTQ, or they pay so little attention to that they pay so little attention to everything else, where they miss out on a good story.
Yeah,
that's the crux of it.
Everything else has to be tacked on.
A lot of moviegoers, you can see the politics behind it as well. Like, where like you want to go to the movie to escape everyday life, and you can see the politics behind it. Like, would you have made the same choice if the temperature of the country was not where it is? Like, if the
climate,
I don't know.
Probably not, because everything's politics.
I'm excited for the Marvels in the sense that it's something new and we get to react to it. In that sense, I'm not expecting a great movie though. I'm just not. But we'll see.
There's no point in guessing. Like, I don't know. Let's just watch it we're all gonna watch it. Then we'll do a review afterwards.
I'm trying to
We're gonna
think,
enjoy,
though,
like
was-
guessing.
Maybe
like,
I'll be
why you
pleasantly
gonna rate it?
surprised.
Why you gonna rate it before you go see it? Like, just you ain't seen it yet. Go watch
I'm
it.
just-
We're gonna go. We're all gonna go watch it, and then we're gonna see how it is.
Just,
We're gonna
just,
see how bad or how good they do.
just taking an
Real fun.
educated guess here. Just taking an educated guess here. It doesn't look like, again, it just.
I don't know,
doesn't-
man.
it
I
doesn't
see
speak
like
to me.
all I see is like the internet, like people talking and drama.
What's
Like,
the name of the
it's
guy who's
internet
playing
people
the new Blade?
Marshall Ali,
Marshall Ali.
Yeah, has he been in anything else except for?
Luke Cage.
Yes. Okay.
He's in
Lots
Into
of
the
stuff.
Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse. He was in Moonlight. He was in
I know he was in Alita. That's the
Green
only
Book.
thing I remember him from.
he was in Green Book.
Okay.
He was in
He's
that
a good
movie.
actor.
He was in Luke Cage. He was the best
Yeah.
villain in the Luke Cage show.
I don't know why they
Actually-
didn't need to switch him out. Like they didn't need to switch him out. I mean, I
They
understand
didn't need to,
Diamondback and
but he was
whatnot.
he was Copper or Cottonmouth
Cottonmouth.
in Luke Cage.
Yeah.
But real talk, I liked Bushmaster too. He was a good one too. But anyway, like
No, I'm talking about Diamondback.
He was-
Like Diamondback. Like,
yo,
I didn't give a shit
Diamondback.
about him.
Yeah,
I didn't care about him so much. Like after Cottonmouth, he was a step down.
yeah.
You know.
But Cottonmouth was like,
But I did like
mean.
Bushmaster. I did like in the second season. I liked him.
Yeah, he was good.
Mhm.
Yeah, Diamondback was weird. Anyway, but yeah, like he's been in stuff. He's been around.
Yeah. He's
Anyway.
he's definitely been working.
All right, guys. It's 10:30. We had 2 hours and 15.
You want
real quick,
to call
real
it
quick,
to do a part two?
Do y'all have another 15 minutes? We could touch on Dave Chappelle.
No, I want to get into that one. I gotta get into it. But hey, if you guys want to do a cast after the Miss Marvel jump, I don't know, maybe next weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably go on a Saturday. I'll probably go
I'm
see it.
going on Friday.
I'm
Mhm.
trying to go on Friday too, or Saturday, whenever one of these days. All right,
Damn,
so
you guys.
we can
I
meet up
work
again
on
next
Friday.
week, and we could do a cast on that.
Damn, you guys, man.
And then
I was doing it Friday, too.
we'll talk Chapelle and why he. pissed
What's
me off.
next up on the movie list? I mean, I can't even think. Remember back in the day, we were so spoiled by Marvel. Remember you were planning to go see Remember before Captain America came out, Civil War. You knew you were going to see that shit 9 months before it came out. You know.
Bruh.
Now I
Civil
can't tell
War.
you the next movie after the Marvels. I can't tell you. I don't even know. But I miss
Uh,
the anticipation. Don't you miss the anticipation of these movies, man?
I think honestly, I think the strikes fucked shit up.
Yeah,
a
I think it was even
while.
before that because, like you were saying, Frank, they're so
I'm
disjointed.
looking for
was
shows
hard
for
to
real. Like
anticipate.
shows is what I'm looking at.
You know, like a movie like The
Oh.
Eternals. You know, remember where the Titan thing is poking out of the earth and all this shit? Like,
Mhm.
shouldn't we have? They made mention of that in another movie or something. You know, like a
No,
movie
there's
that
no
came after
narrative.
The Eternals.
There's no narrative, so that
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't
a
mean
big deal,
anything.
It's
kind of a
hard
big
to
deal.
look forward to anything because, like, you
There's no
don't know.
narrative.
That's
So
like-
what is that? You know, it doesn't mean anything right now.
The
Yeah, it's
uprooting of a continent.
like, so, whatever. Who cares about that shit? You know?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
that happens every day. All the time.
But yeah,
That's cool, though. But yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I guess we'll do it next week, man. I'm definitely
Okay.
going to see it. I need to stop this blind loyalty I have towards Marvel and Sprint.
No,
all
that's
these
cool. I got
Yeah.
it too, man.
I've been
I got it
supporting
too,
them.
yo.
Yeah,
Like
y'all do,
they've
though.
done us.
Y'all
They've done
do,
us
though.
well. They've done
they
us
have.
well.
They've
We
served
have
us
to have
well
faith,
for a
all right?
very long time. But
Let them betray us.
They've run out of steam.
But let's not anticipate the
They
betrayal.
run out of
no,
steam.
Frank, no. I refuse to believe that they run. Okay, they have
Well,
run out of steam.
they
They can
run
get
out-
it back.
They run out of they haven't run out of steam in the sense of output. No, they're
Little
full
faith.
steam ahead. But they've run out of quality, in my opinion. They really
Yeah, they have
All
run out of quality.
praises,
Yeah.
all praises to the M.
Nah, dude.
They
need to- they really need to have a think. They really need to have a think, and they really need to come up with like really great stories, right? Like
Mhm.
you have really great fucking Marvel property stories that are sitting out there that they can adapt, and they're just like not even fucking like close to looking at that shit because they're just making too much money hand over foot with bullshit, you know, and they're fucking scraping by with no cohesion whatsoever. And it's like, yo, what happened to y'all? Y'all fucking suck now.
I
Like,
do
what the
agree.
fuck
They,
happened
they
to
They're
y'all?
are
still
running out
tying
of
it
steam.
together though. We're not done
Tying
yet.
what
They're
together?
tying
There's
together.
nothing to tie together. It's all it's all over the fucking place. It's all
And then
over the place.
boom, they're gonna be like,
Frank,
haha.
And then
you're
boom,
like,
what? Boom, nothing.
Frank, we're not used to this. We're used to you being an optimistic one, Frank. We're not used to this shit,
There's
man.
nothing to tie together here.
That's
There
why
is
me and Juice are
literally-
trying to talk Frank off the ledge right now, man. Like, Frank, calm down, man. Like,
They
they
are
can get it back. Bro.
They're literally
They
they're
have run
literally-
out of steam. They have run out of steam.
yeah,
Because it's like,
it's all good.
you know, there is no overarching narrative, and it's like you don't know what they expect. So, but I'm just not used to Frank being the pessimistic one, man. He's always optimistic.
I'm just trying to be the realist one right now.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just trying to be the
just a
realist
realist
right now. Like there's
Marvel
it's
hates us.
all disjointed as fuck, and there's nothing to tie together. There is not going to be some oh shit moment or aha. Like there's too much happening too quickly.
Hey,
And
you have to
they
watch
need to-
episode 5 of Loki season 2.
I heard that episode was
to
crazy.
understand the next 3
I
movies.
heard that episode was
Then-
crazy.
You get it. Then you'll be like, ha ha. Here we go.
Nah.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
I'm gonna be like, so how does this tie into all the other shit that came before? And what the fuck does this mean
It's
for
gonna
what's
get the
coming
gears
later?
going. Yeah. You're gonna be like, oh, what's this?
No.
mean?
It's
Oh,
not
maybe-
gonna be
maybe
like
they're
a
gonna do that.
It's not gonna be like a it's gonna be like a what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Like it's gonna be like this doesn't make any fucking sense. Cool moment, great, cool story, bro, but this doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
we see
I still have faith that they can get it back. They like you said, they've done more positive than negative with us. So, you know, I still have my
Sure.
memorable moments. From
but they're
Disney.
slowly
They are running out of
slowly
steam,
catching
man.
up to being about even with bullshit versus greatness.
That's why
So,
I think DC is like
that evens out to
really-
mediocrity.
DC had the perfect chance to strike. You know, that's why I feel like they dropped the ball after Zack Snyder. I know everything had kind of gone on with the actors and the actresses, and you know, but that was their time to strike, and they had something there with that Zack Snyder's Justice League, and they let it go, which I guess I get because of everything that had happened leading up to that release. But
technically, that was let go. That was let go, and that was a diamond in the rough where we're not going to see something like that.
Like
again.
you said, that was like one of those. They put out what they put out, so
Yeah.
that was not the theatrical version.
Right.
You know?
The theatrical version is what counts, right? Is what's canon.
But you can't tell me you
That's
don't want to
canon.
see part 2 to that movie. You don't want to see Darkseid gather the Armada.
Of course I
Remember
do.
at the end he's like, get the
you know what I
Armada.
saw? I saw
Shit.
the trailer for Aquaman 2.
That looks awesome. I'm going to see that.
It looks good.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's a trailer for Aquaman too?
Yeah, I saw it last week when I didn't see Five Nights at Freddy's.
No. I heard
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
I heard that's literally going to be the worst movie ever.
Which I
Probably
can
will
understand
be.
because DC, their
But
reputation
I'm here for
got
Black
to be-
Manta. Black Manta looks cool in that joint, but yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
every
it's gonna-
movie that
it's gonna
DC
be-
has came out with,
Look,
it looks stupid.
hey.
Like they have no reputation.
No. I'm not even talking about just based off of the trailer. I'm talking about like the fucking shit that's coming down the pipeline, not the pipeline,
Yeah.
but like coming down like the wire where they're saying like it's fucking awful, and it's like they were heaping praise on the Flash, and I was disappointed. But they're saying like Aquaman 2 is trash. Like everyone that has already like been exposed to it, seen it, knows more about it, is in the industry, whatever have you. Trash. And
Black Manta does
I
look
believe it.
cool. in
the decision
trailer,
to keep
but
Amber
it
Heard
looks
doesn't help.
They're worrying
I thought they
me
got rid of
because
her.
they had a scene.
No, they did not get rid of her.
They had a scene where Black Manta was walking holding his helmet, and I'm like, please don't start this again. I thought the Mandalorian solved this issue. We don't need to see your helmet coming on and off because for me personally, it takes me out of the character. You are the Manta.
Mandalorian's the
you know?
only person that never takes his helmet off.
And I know that like
in the season.
contractually that the actor probably has to show their face for a certain amount of time in the movies. You want to be able to see the actor's face. You know,
That's why
they
I
were
had
doing
a
that in
huge-
Black Panther. Remember in Black Panther where the mask kept coming on and off at the end and shit, and you're like,
I have
It's just-
a big problem. That's why I had a big problem with when it was my only like real gripe with No Way Home, where
it's just one of those
all the
quirks.
actors had their masks off, and the
Yeah.
Spider-Man had their masks off. I'm like, put your fucking mask back on.
Yeah, we
You're
know who
fucking
you are.
Spider-Man.
Look, the Power Rangers never took their helmets off. We knew who they were. God damn it. I know that's Tommy under there, you know?
Right.
Come on, man.
But yeah.
Well, hey guys, you gotta sign out though.
Yeah.
Might be, guys.
Sorry guys, I think the Marvel joint took too long, but we'll definitely have a part 2. There's more to talk about.
We got more to talk about next week then, man. So yeah, I guess that's gonna sign us out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us once again. Yeah, it's been another episode of the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. Yo. And I swear we don't know how to keep time restraints because it's 2 hours and 24 minutes. We have no idea how to do it.
Well, that's only 9 minutes more than we were originally gonna end.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
We're getting better. But all right, y'all.
All right, guys.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all be good.
We need a
we do
need
the
an outro slogan or something. Yeah.
Just play the intro for the outro again, bro. Just do that again. Just play the intro for the outro.
All right, y'all be easy.
To the Intelligent Idea Podcast.
They're saying welcome.
We need a new intro outro. We need a new intro outro. All right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all be good.